Alright, hello everyone. Thank you for being here. Looks like we already got 3 people watching right now. That is awesome to see. I really appreciate y'all being here. We are going to be streaming Skyrim today, episode 2 of the season 1 of the Dramatic Discussion Series, episode 2. So, yeah, thank you all for being here. Today we are going on a quest to encounter the Greybeards. And we're also actually going to try to live up to the discussion part of the name today. Last week was a beta stream, but this time we're going to go lean a little bit more into that, especially since thankfully we down into a video so they can be watched later, which really does a lot for us. So if you would prefer, if you are the kind of person who enjoys watching things in smaller segments, isn't really interested in the engagement that comes with streaming, this series will also be available there as well. Also, if you have to miss a stream, instead of just watching the whole thing 4 hours through on the Twitch VOD, or it's also posted on YouTube, the full thing on the live channel, you can now start watching in smaller bites starting, I think, by the end of this week. So thank you very much to that person. We're very excited about that. We're very excited about all of you being here. So without further ado, let's hop into the game and we'll go from there. There. I know the game's going. Yeah.
Is there something I can do for you?
Alright, here we are, back in the world of Skyrim, in a tavern, as all good adventures start. So, first choice we have to make before anything is whether we are going to bring Lydia with us, wherever she went. There she is, nice, or Uthgerd. And, I was kind of leaning, as the last one ended, towards Uthgerd, particularly because, she's just the better warrior overall. Lydia's kind of, there's more variety, and she can carry a little bit more, but for this kind of quest, I don't feel like that's going to be necessary. It also doesn't quite fit her personality, I feel like. When a lot of feels like, that's obvious, gotta stop doing that. Lydia is really more a very balanced figure. She's kind of the person more fit to guard a home, keep track of your possessions, that sort of thing, than someone to outright just go out and kill things. She's not really specialized for that, and there's going to be a lot of that on this quest up the mountain to the Greybeards. So what we're going to do, first we're going to be nice to her and go buy her, or buy us, I should say, property for her to do her job with, and then we are going to pick Uthgerd back up. That being said, let's hope we have enough money. If not, we'll find out very shortly, and we'll have to go either sell some things or just leave Lydia here in the Jarl's abode and figure that out. If you're watching right now, we'd love to hear from you. How has everyone's day been? How was your weekend? Look for the steward here. Rose aid. Ventus. Here he is. Ventus. Ah, 5,000 gold.
There's a house available right now.
Yep. I can't afford that right now.
Very well. Just let me know when you're
I love that there's it gives you more than one option when you don't have enough money. One where you can just outright tell them that you're poor. One where you can be a little bit more discreet. We went with the more discreet option. I would argue with him, but he's not wrong. We just, we've come from nothing to now being the Thane of a city. I will happily lick some boots for that, as long as they are not horribly disgusting boots. And that was a pretty great guy, one of the best characters in this game. And for us to part with.
I'll head back home if you need me.
Alrighty, let's go pick up Uthgerd and be okay. I should say, let's go talk to Uthgerd and ask her to come along with us. I'm not sure Uthgerd is really the Dragonborn's type. We have the most lovely mismatch of armor on right now, but we got the classic helmet. Rocking a lot of Old North stuff right now in terms of our weapons.
My cousin's out fighting dragons, and what do I get?
Yeah, so dramatic discussion today. The idea is kind of that, you know, if you come here in the downtime, we're going to talk about some things that sort of transcend the game, somewhat relevant, but also are.
I know a woman till you had a strong drink and a fist fight with her.
Well,
Let's not
we did. So I was like, I guess I know you, Uthgerd, pretty darn well. It's an interesting philosophy. I don't know. You know, maybe I'll have to try that on the next girl I meet. Buy her a beer and then just throw her a right hook. On second thought, maybe not the best idea. Items. This is not an achievement that wears down, so we're definitely going to keep that one. Unless we're not really going to come across fire anytime soon. So I'm going to sell that for some better armor overall. The fur on.
I don't claim to be the best. Blades, helmets, pretty much anything.
We will come back for exposition on her later, but right now, I think like we should just be on our way. Greybeards have called, it's a pretty serious thing. Not the kind of thing that you stop halfway to get to know a vendor. Like there's any don't have, so you can't get the full armor boots. Oh well, some things. Shoes, we aren't gonna need those. Smithing bracers, I'm gonna keep those for right now. You might be able to use them later. We don't have a better enchantment. I'm actually. Oh no, I want that back. Yep, I can't take that back. That is something that really sucks about these games, is that now, you know, even though they were mine a second ago, I can't take them back for the same value I sold them for. Oh well, guess we didn't need them. Steel cuff boots. Well, it is a memento, but there's going to be other keepsakes that Jarl gives us going forward, so. Oh, talk about other Skyrim bugginess. I'm glad you're enjoying it, PB. Wonders of Skyrim. All that. If this is not really a stealth mission, so maybe we should try and give ourselves armor that's a little bit. Probably gonna have an opportunity to pick up one of these on the way, so we're not gonna buy that. Already have band iron boots. Those we even sell our steel. I don't know. I actually don't know enough to know if the full set rating is better than having, you know, the one layer up and the other thing, but I'm gonna infer that it is, because I think that's part of the reason why it's there. Also, so the game gives you an out if you want to be aesthetically pleasing and not have mismatch two different armor sets. My instincts could be wrong there. It could just be so that you're not trying to mix light and heavy armor, or yeah, encourages you against that rather than. But we could also. How much? They have a steel breastplate. You couldn't get full steel. Yeah, we're gonna go with iron boots. Sure, have everything. We have the helmet. We're gonna pick up armor along the way. Let's get rid of the boot. These boots. Go up and buy ourselves some iron boots for an outrageous. Oh, that's a shame. Alright, well, we'll let fate take care of it.
Don't forget to check inside the shop if you need anything.
Someone watching is telling me my audio needs a little bit fixed, and I was kind of aware of that going in. I didn't have time to work on that today, but we are going to have an intermission halfway through this, so I'll work on it then. Getting out of everything else a little bit late today. Part of the reason we had that music is just to get everyone into the mood, but also part of it is that I was still in the process of getting out of the shower when the stream started, so killed two birds with one stone there. Make sure we're equipped with everything we want. I want that to be a favorite. We'll hold on to that, but could have gotten rid of a few more of these things. Shock, that's really good against mages. Don't think we're going to come across a lot of those, so I'm going to hand with these things over to our companion. Unfavorite that. I like the steel. Look better. Ancient Nord is just a little bit too old for me. Looks too ragged.
What do you need to take?
Steel, especially, of course, Nordic steel, is really the armor that most makes me feel like I am the Dragonborn. I think I'm going to want that more than I had those. Get rid of weapons. I really should have got rid of more guy here, but there's not really anywhere for us to store it on this short notice. Find a chest along the way. Wink, wink. Happen to know where a good one is. Go for that. Happen she'll want to use that. Let her, yeah. She can go hand with that. She helped me obliterate the person who we got it from, so I feel like that's only. We'll give her that too. There we go. If she wants to use it, she's welcome to. You got enough steel that kind of adds some nice contrast. You can do much matching. Always the best thing in life. Sometimes you need a little bit of diversity in your wardrobe. That on. Should have been wearing that when I was doing my selling. Forgot about that. Oh, looks like the horse found his way back or revived, or maybe that's another horse. I don't know. We don't need to talk about that. Let's never revisit what happened last time. Hey. How do I I remember. You all saw me favorite that mace, didn't you? Probably unfavored it, knowing me. Alright. Now we can head on our way. Back down the path we tried to go last time. Take a second to soak this all in. Or just came. Even... a butterfly. I love how much attention to detail they put into it. It really is a game that you can just escape into. On that note, let's talk about what we're going to fill this empty space with when we're doing this series. Part of the idea of doing RPGs is that it prompts, in its own way, a lot of interesting discussions along the way in the choices it forces you to make. But there's also times where you just have these open spaces where you can fill really with whatever you want. And while we're here, we're gonna keep going on those ideas. So the first half of today, I think we're gonna talk just about what we were just talking about, escapes. Escapes in games, is it even possible? How do you deal? Oh, got a fight. Been involved. How do you deal with messaging when it comes to things? There's been a lot of controversy with that this last year. We are taking fire. Quite literally, actually, for once. I don't know who they were attacking, but they're attacking us now, so. Stun them so they can't get more shots off on us. And even the littlest thing, you know, they do. Fire damage keeps going well after your hit, so. Apparently that's favorite did too, but you wouldn't know it. Yeah. Important thing with flame atronachs, they do explode after you kill them. Fire salts are actually not something that's terribly easy to come by in this game, and there is a quest later, fairly minor one, but it does give you some nice buffs from a blacksmith. So those are going to. In keeping with our traditions, well, we don't know why she was on edge, why she was fighting us, so we will give her body a little bit more respect and just leave it where it normally. But we do have a tradition here. When we kill a bandito, for example, we find a way to make the world know what kind of person they were in life by their status of their body. Now, she was definitely fighting someone. But who? Why? I don't see anyone here, and I don't see any bodies either. Maybe the body was disintegrated. Oh boy. Was it a frame that I paused on intentionally, Chicken Nugget? Or was it one that the stream buffered? Yeah, that's going to be our first topic for today. Messaging in games, in art in general. Obviously, you know, you can see still in my background right now, I'm a big art guy, so. Oh, nice, Chicken Nugget. Very nice. I'm sure that it was a stream that paused it there. No audience interaction, of course. I'm just messing with it. Do our duty to the people of Skyrim and clear out some pests along the way. And the discussion topic for the second half will be another one that's relevant to Skyrim. Something I was thinking about because it's somewhat. Was he running? I've never seen a wolf do that before. It's kind of sad, to be honest. And if you're going to be, you are an animal that regularly makes a habit of attacking passerbys, and you are right next to the road, then do. What's the man to do? Gotta be aware of how things appear. Just what you're actually. They're a big part of how humans make decisions. And they ought to be. Generally, they do convey. They always convey important information. They're not always the complete picture, but they're always a part of the picture. Quite literally, I suppose. And since we're talking about imagery, going back to that painting, yeah, I'm a big art guy. So, what does what kind of place does messaging have in art? Is there different types of art, or is it more appropriate than another? Is it escapable? Can you even have a true escape of a video game where you can get away from all that? Does it matter if you can? So on and so forth. So those are the kind of things we're going to be picking apart as we walk. The second half is going to be freedom versus security. That was something that's very relevant to the Stormcloak Rebellion in this game. And also something I just thought would be interesting to talk about because it kind of the discussion topic in my own life this past weekend. But that will be after intermission. This is a discussion, of course, though, not a lecture, so didn't land it. We're gonna keep trying, just improve our skills here a little bit. I don't want to bore you all to death, so we're just gonna get one guy until we can boost our sneak score. I feel like wait, they're fighting something? Not. Yeah, maybe we'll just go get straight involved. Sneak on up. Yeah, they're fighting something. Well, let's get a pick here and there. Use of the opportunity. If I'm any good at archery. Which, actually true to real life, to be honest. Nice! And they didn't even realize. Man, whatever they're fighting must be really distracting. Let's go find out. Like I said, do one. Content is important, and also Dragonborn's a man of honor. Not right to just shoot people in the back if you have the opportunity to fight them otherwise. We had to level the playing field there a little bit. That's what we'll justify that as, not just us wanting to get some action. But we were talking about getting that iron armor earlier, and here it is. Trip my man down. Should have... Knew he was going to lead with that too. Should have led with a block on my part. Alright, come on. You want to give it to me? Give it to me. There you go. Alright, switch to something maybe with a little bit less of a stamina requirement. Do some magic. Keep rotating through those things since we only have so much of each right now. Something I wanted to mention, but I can't remember what it was. Just keep walking backwards. Now, yep, my magic is low. But stamina has improved a little bit, so I can probably get one nice big strike, and that should be enough to finish this guy. Yep. That was not the best block on his part. Nothing here really worth grabbing to sell. These things are all very weighty. Well, this isn't too bad. Let's take that. Bring our bow back out. I am curious to find out what they were fighting. Could have drawn it all the way. That time I should have trusted my crosshair. Just from last time. Yeah, it is probably a bear. And that's true. You know, all is fair in love and war, and it depends on the person you're fighting, right? If the person you're fighting is a person of honor, you're probably... Oh, deal with this first. Discussion topic for after I get out of the fight, let's say that. No! Okay then. Well, we got it. Oh, we are, we have encountered some resistance we were not expecting. Okay then. In the traditional manner of my people. That's odd. I can carry something and draw my bow. I did not know that. We're learning new things here, people. What were they fighting? There's a dead bandit down. And that's the one I killed earlier. They're all facing this way. The elk's dead. So it must have been a creature. Because no other creature, you know. The bandits wouldn't have killed the elk, I don't think. Got one nice shot off. Need more Hanzo in my life, maybe. But this is very true form. How good I am at archery in real life. Firearm, not a problem. I've been known to break targets, their bullseyes. At least once. I did that once. I can't really say that's known. A little bit of exaggeration there, but I did in fact break a bullseye once from hitting it too much. Good at something. Not good at archery, though. I don't think there's any other bandits around here. I think having killed that guy took care of everything. I don't know if the fishing gear like buffed me to going fishing. Try that though. These are pretty good to sell. Nice. Yeah, slugs are the way to go. My first firearm I ever bought for myself was a shotgun, and you really can't be throwing a nice slug into a target. Goodbye, my friend. That's two? Two bodies desecrated. It's a good day. It's a good day. That's a good transition into what we were just talking about. Yeah, some people... Everyone naturally deserves a fair fight, but people can take that away from themselves by engaging in type of behavior where you just need to win. Like, there are things that transcend that honor, and it is not you that has broken it. To be honest, most fair fights don't even come into play in war. They come into play in one's personal life, and things like competitions, duels perhaps, things where the people are of equal footing. Because at the end of the day, the process for getting somewhere matters, and even if, you know, we're trying to... Another thing about fighting is you don't always necessarily want to kill your opponent. Sometimes they'll survive. Sometimes your fight isn't even a physical one. You want them to change after you finish that fight, and so procedure is really important in that sense. But there are cases where there is more at stake than one person, and in those cases, which is really a lot of them when it comes to fighting, you do the best you can when it comes to honor, but you also do what you gotta do in order to win. It's a balancing act, not so much one thing versus another. Fine clothes will be very nice to take and sell. Miner's clothes, not so much. A lot of great books here. If you're, someone who's very interested in lore, something Skyrim did such an amazing job on. I love that you can just pick up random books in a video game and read them. Someone actually wrote books to include in something that's already as well and expansive as Skyrim. That's neat. Oh, some good loot here, ladies and gentlemen. Some good loot. The first you got yourselves were pistols. Well, it's possible then that you were buying them after you became 21. I bought my shotgun before I was 21. But this was a decent choice. I don't know. They're cool, they're flashy, but there's a reason they are sidearms. Even in a home defense environment, you're really better off with... Ooh, look at that in a moment. With a rifle than a pistol. A lot harder to take from your hands, get more accuracy. Pistol is only really good for concealability. That is why it is a sidearm. But if you're talking about sports shooting as well, bring that into play. Shotgun has the best versatility overall, in my opinion. Because you can do the same kind of accuracy stuff with slugs that you do with a rifle, but you can't do things like skeet or trap with a rifle, for example. That's why I wanted that one to be my first. I could hunt with it, I could defend myself with it, I could do sports shooting with it. So we do have the body down here we gotta go loot. There's no sign of what they were fighting. Dead elk. Perhaps it was wolves. I can see, we'll take that venison. Look that up later. Waste not, want not when it comes to nature. All life is sacred in one sort or another, some more than others, but Something past you don't want to. Or not. Respect that. You took it yourself or not. Now, this person already got a nice little fall, but I feel like someone's got to make their way over the waterfall. This wouldn't be a game of Skyrim without it, would it? I would be genuinely curious to find out what percentage of Skyrim players have done what I'm about to do. How many of them are sick as twisted in their heads as I am. Lost Aragonian man, get out of here. Never read it. I do know what it is, though, of course. You can't really do not have any deeper association than just having played the game without knowing all about Lost Aragonian Maid. Very much an inside joke in the Elder Scrolls community. Alright, well, let's let the water take him. No, not us, just him. Okay, there he goes. Wonder if we could survive that. My greed. Oh, we can't. That's what I say. My greed for this might get the best of me, but same time, I wouldn't call this behavior sick and twisted, for being honest. Oh, fudge. Well, here we go again. Let's do it a little bit differently this time. Let's just go gung-ho and kill everything. Maybe we'll find out what they're fighting by doing this too. What's the deal, banditos? Hold on, what were you fighting? They were fighting the elk all along, both times. They were really out here just trying to kill an elk. Uh-oh. That was a whiff. Beautiful block on her part. Smash right through it. That's what I love about the maces. Alright, now we just got this guy. Let's let our stamina increase. Follow us. I don't know what happened to Uthgard. Dodge and weave. Will you? Have you? Ah. Shouldn't have let him get that off. Now he's gonna die with an ego. Oh, hello, Uthgard. So much for that ego. Nice, get wrecked, fool. Yep, we'll put all that on after. Still strip him naked. Strip naked. And hand it over to the waterfall. Jellyfied. Floating to his death. Alright, gotta make this fast. Don't want to force you all to suck it up with me and real loot, but we're gonna need that loot later. Okay. I don't know who got him, to be honest. Was it his friend missing? Did Uthgard hit him and then my bash killed him? Did I bash him in such a way he was still enough for Uthgard to hit him? Honestly, don't know. Let's let her finish the fighting while we get the rest of the loot. Don't need. Oh, we wanted to find clothes. I remember those. Eventually you play Skyrim so much that novice locks just becomes second nature. Never mind what happened earlier. Someone's just watching now, they would never know. Thank you all so much for being here, by the way. I see we have 5 people on Twitch right now, which is pretty darn good for a baby streamer on Skyrim. Expecting this series to take a minute to take off, I should say. Pick up, the other word I was going for. Mix those two together. Pick off just doesn't sound quite right, you know? Whether we're talking about a scab than something we all want to enjoy together. Did I desecrate this body? I've not desecrated it yet. This thing, they have dishonored themselves in life, so it is fitting that in death they should be as they lived. That's justice, my friends. There it goes, slowly floating. Send a message too. Hey PB, good to have you. Thank you for being here. I didn't mean to take the pickaxe, but we could use it. Nothing really worth mining so far. Oh dang, she didn't just kill that guy, she killed him hard. He fell from the top. I will take the apple pie, sir. You have very little else of value, though. Off with you. Let's make it more interesting. Or you through the loop. Goal! Football. He's an elf. He looks like a European, so he reads like one. That axe did. I was so impressed by my knowledge of cultural intricacies that just did not contain itself. Decided to, so much so that it broke the laws of physics. Fishing hat. Almost done here. We just have that booby trap chest at the bottom, which, been here so long, I'm just gonna suck up the booby trap. It won't kill me. Hope so anyways. I don't want to do this again, so we will save. Do it. I don't remember it being powerful enough to kill me, though. Yeah. That's what's about to hit us. What is that sound? Holy creature. We'll find out later. Hey! Guys, who needs to pick a lock when you got feet? That thing, you can apply that to any situation. Guarantee you it will go well. Everyone will know what you're talking about, of course. One of those deep truths. Alright. Let's unpack our brains here. Take a deep breath. I love Skyrim. I'm encouraging a break. Hold on, I gotta find out what's going on over here in the Twitch. Say that. I want to call it encouraging a break-in. Oh, we can level up. We'll do that once we get a little farther here. Ah, I see what you mean. Yeah, I can see that from there. And you know, am I wrong? Alright. We take an intermission here. I'm gonna fix the audio gate a little bit because it looks like it's cutting out just a little bit. On animals around here. Not gonna kill any bunnies, don't worry. In real life, great source of meat. Tastes good. Reduces quickly. But, not everyone has a stomach for that sort of thing, in another sense.
Hail, friend. It's good to see another merry soul enjoying this fine day. Ah, but you look tired. Come, share a bottle of honey brew mead with me.
Does anyone else find this a little bit suspicious? Not sure how I feel about being solicited to drink ale with a random stranger. So that's just...
Ever had a taste of sweet hunting brew?
It's not what I meant,
Only the
but
finest mead outside of
more
summer.
so, why are you offering this to me in the woods? But that's the best kind of question, you know,
Fair maiden
only question option I had.
on a starry night. And it's got enough kick to put a frost troll on his hind quarters. But enough talk. Come, won't you share a drink with me and my companions?
I only have one option, and I'm not gonna do that. Yeah, any kids watching, make the same prudent decisions. Even adults, to be honest. Oh, let's take a look at the map. No, that does not appear on our way. Well, maybe it is. I don't know. I a little bit more trust for this route. Let's see if there's a sign this for Iverstead. There is. Yep, Iverstead is the town on the way, so we're gonna want to take this path and not that one. Another not so good sign. If you're going up to a place that looks like that, maybe bring one of those firearms we were talking about earlier. At the very least. I'm gonna discourage anyone from a good adventure, but be safe. On the note of freedom versus security. Again, discussion topic for the second half. For whatever reason, sometimes I have to tab out the game every time I want to go to the Twitch chat for some reason. I guess it doesn't like the possibility of my mouse coming off the screen. It's locked, so every now and again, though, it'll still register my scroll, like it just did again, and scroll me up in the chat so I can't see what's going on. Click off of that. Alright. Not registering my scroll right now. It should be fine. Yeah, it's the Twitch thing is on a second monitor. That's a good point. I hadn't thought about my phone. The stream manager on there. Good point. Thank you, man. I usually just use a second monitor because it's there. That's what it's there for. Can't see me. Jack Cena. But yeah, phone's a good call. There we go. Now I can see it. Very nice. And I can still see the bit rate on the side. I don't need to touch it to get that. So, speaking of adventure, Uthgerd, how do you feel about wrecking some necromancer? Not a very talkative one. Chat, how about y'all? Should we continue on our quest to the Greybeards, or blast some necromancer ass? You know. While you all think on that, I will take a look at this. Yeah, we're going to use it for this. Well, no we're not. I want to save that stamina for someone who uses stamina. Okay. Vote is in. Go for it. Looks like they murdered someone. I can't. No reason to believe the Greybeards are so urgent that I can't stop along the way to do another service to Skyrim, as such we were talking about earlier. Nice one. Nunjit. Oh, I didn't notice you there, my friend. That burns. I should change my armor. Yeah, I know enough about Skyrim to know you're not really surrendering. That is a shame. You know, probably would be a win for ethics in video games if Skyrim let you accept the surrenders of anyone, but this is not the case. It'll just run around the corner 100% of the time and try and kill you again, and even if, like, there's no button you can press to make them go with you. So the stuff would be useful later as a means to disguise myself. That being said, it does feel kind of sacrilegious to steal that off that poor man. Unlike this mage. Yeah, no. They do not quite deserve that honor, as you can all tell. But yeah, there's another one around here. I would, after seeing that, I would like to kill him with my own hands. I'm here. Oh! Nice. Yes, Geneva suggestion. I like that. I like that term. A spellbook out of that too. Still a lady, so I feel like it's not quite right for anyone that I strip her naked, but we could still desecrate the body. Now, let us find our way inside and make sure every necromancer here regrets. Oh, look, another one. Hello, my friend. 2 in a row. Oh. Is the Geneva suggestion a to-do list? Is it really, though? I wouldn't call it the to-do list. It's good. Like we were talking, we actually talked about this earlier already. No need to cover it again. That sometimes, you know, if they have lowered themselves to that level, you can't expect yourself to be held to it either. Play with honor when you can. When you can't, don't. Paraphrasing Captain America there. There are things you can never compromise on, to be fair. But there is a whole list of things that are more subject dependent. Honor when you have napalm. That being said, you know, it's also important to evaluate, you know, if you have the ability to beat them with honor, you may as well, right? Instead of stooping to their level, even if they have warranted it, because that, you know, you're rising above, and at that point that will be a good thing for everyone in the long term, in terms of seeing who was really right or wrong in that setting, and will make a positive impact just about everyone, including the people who have to carry it out. Justice still can be satisfied in that case. You know, you bring them to court, still force them to face the punishment for their crimes, but do so in a more organized manner that lets everyone fully process just why happening. Last person we got nice in the breast. This one we got in the back. Quite a testament to the length of our arms. Come on. There you go, my lady. Be free. Ah, this is so sad. And I just walked right over the body. My bad. Yeah, that's a good point, Chicken Nugent. That being said, sometimes it's the hurt that is the very thing that leads one to have to go into therapy. So, sad as it is hard as it is for some people, hard it is to live this way. It's not something that could be truly said to be black and white. Individual decision making very relevant there. So that's coming from the top, so that they're not expecting me. Like I said, it's not exactly black and white when it comes to honor. Mention me throwing bodies off the side. Sometimes, I said earlier, it is they who have dishonored themselves, and what's happening is justice is taking its course. And the thing about justice is that justice is itself honorable. It is, when you kill someone who deserves to die, you have satisfied honor, both for them and for yourself. Death is something God brought into the world. It's something God brought in as a result of sin. And it is punishment. The thing with punishment is that it always re-sanctifies. You wash out sin with blood. Thankfully, we have the blood of Christ to do it now, but for all of us, in some cases, it doesn't still mean justice is not important. We participate in, well, justice does not ever take away from the dignity of a person. It restores dignity that was taken by their offense. Justice is sacred, as much as mercy is. The art is weaving it together, not setting them opposed to one another. As we will get to that discussion question, I just want to get to a place where I feel comfortable enough to I could sit back and process what I'm saying. So, you know, a little bit in my head. Alright, there's the other door, I think. So, I think we've just about killed everyone. A successful mission. I want to say again, thank you all to everyone who's watching. You can find our schedule on the Twitch page, as well as I believe it's also listed on, no, it's not listed on YouTube, but YouTube has a link to the Twitch page. If you're watching there, you can see the stream schedule. Tomorrow we're going to be playing Overwatch. Thursday, looks like we're going to play Stellaris. Saturday, probably some more Minecraft we did last week. You can also find VODs. Soon on our second YouTube channel, you'll be able to find the Skyrim series, plus some other extras. Shorts, highlights, that sort of thing. Very much failing on this lock. We're also active on both Instagram and in all places at 3 Jack Clubs 3. Hopefully those things will help to build our community a little bit more and sort of deepen the enjoyment of the experience for everyone. Being said, if you're not for you, not a problem. Invitation, not going to invite you at the tip of this hammer. I would perhaps these necromancers. Come on, we're so close. This is what I mean about me talking and doing something at the same time. Yeah, I'm sure I am. This is why most DMs do not put weight requirements into what they do. But same, you know, I will say, overall, I prefer to not having it. I like being able to get to experience. I am very uncomfortable about the presence of this being here. Man. Those guys deserve what we gave them. If only I was good at fire magic. I need to learn that just for these kind of instances. Yeah. Most would agree it's the worst way to die. Yeah, I get
What
that.
do you need to take?
Rolling in here. scrolling on. So not to worry, we're using the phone now. I'm gonna fix that too in an intermission here in just a minute. Take a brief break to work on a couple of things. I'll be right back. We'll hold on to that, but we'll give her the pickaxe. We should just drop the pickaxe, to be honest. No!
You need to take.
Skyrim sucking. That so I can drop it. Give her. Where are those things? We don't want. She can wear that. We're a Thane. She's a representative of
Lead on.
government of Whiterun. There we go. Now it's Skyrim, ladies and gentlemen. Really get the point of having armor without sleeves, but classic fantasy issue. Something to discuss another time to be sure. But right now is the time for that intermission. I promise to be very brief. Just going to work on some mic stuff. May even do it live. Hold on, let me check with my IT guy. Okay, yeah, we're going to do it live. So, y'all will get to participate in this. Alt tab out. Alright, let's do it live. Discord, our friend Gibbon. If you've watched some of our other streams, you know who he is. IT guy, and one of the best friends I have. Also the person putting together our Skyrim series, so you can thank him for that. He's also done one bang up job on expanding our Discord server. We're also there if you want to join. But personally,
I hope you know that you were showing off my Discord server.
no, I wasn't. I was on
Telling
mine.
everybody how great yours was.
On mine. Mine.
No, you weren't.
I wasn't. Well,
yours. You were
now-
on mine before.
now I am. Stream. Now I am. Here, going back.
That's okay though. That's okay.
Look better over here.
Give me one moment. I gotta mute you in my Discord. Okay.
I'm not.
So-
No, I'm not doxing anybody. They're a part of the public server. All those people. I have a separate account for friends and for
He's
The public
doxing
sphere.
me, everybody.
All right. So what do you want me to do?
All right, let me refresh the tab real quick so I can see if I can sync us up a little bit more. Okay, that's a lot better. All right, so basically what you're going to want to do is pull up Skyrim for me. You're going to be doing a lot with your audio mixer.
Well, first, if we do Skyrim, we have to
Yeah.
fix the tabbing out issue. The audio mixer is working
Well,
right
that's
now.
going to be something that you're going to have to completely restart the game for.
Okay. Well, I'll just play some music, and you can hear that going in the desktop audio. That'll be your
Well,
reference.
the thing is, you need to adjust the audio.
You
The
just
audio's
need to
gonna be
adjust the
different
mic.
for both music and the game, because the game has dialogue.
I get you. The game was fine. The game was fine.
People need to hear the dialogue.
They couldn't
Not
hear it?
really.
I'll boost it.
I mean, you can. It's just a little quiet.
Okay, we can fix that in the in-game settings. Let's work on the noise gate for while we're here on the mic first. Wow, 7 viewers. Thank you all for being here. It really means a lot. That is well above
Okay,
what
yeah.
we need for Twitch affiliate, which is our for school. Okay, so you want this over
I'm
here?
gonna be honest with you. I don't think the
Deception.
mic gate is as big of an issue. I think it's mostly the fact that you
Deception.
sometimes don't talk loud enough. So I think you just need to make sure you're projecting to the mic.
Yeah, yeah.
Until you get a
Sometimes.
mic that's like right in front of your face.
Right. Yeah, I
So that's gonna be
apologize if I've
that
been
problem. I
mumbling.
think that problem's solved as long as you make sure you're not. All right, cool. So now we're gonna want to adjust your Skyrim audio settings. I think if we increase the dialogue, I think you'll be fine.
Okay.
So if you could pull up Skyrim for me.
Oh. We may have to go out to do that.
Alrighty.
Voice.
Yeah, that's voice. If you just increase that to max. Perfect. And then I'm going to want you to also increase the desktop audio on the OBS.
Okay. I already did.
Sorry, everybody. We're going to get this done real quick.
I'm put. Yeah, we're at. That's negative. Let's do negative like 22.
Increase it to like 7.5.
Okay.
7.2 works. 7.4, perfect. All right, cool.
I don't think it works.
So leave it there, and then I'm gonna have you
Five.
go back into the game and talk to your assistant lady.
Got it. Follower. You're not much of an RPG guy, are you?
I'm still.
I don't know what she's called.
We've stopped. What is
Oh, let me turn off that music. Yeah.
All right, talk to her some more.
You've been talking to those companions?
Nope.
They cried. Weak,
Oh, we need this
pathetic
dialogue.
cowards, the lot of them.
Bump your desktop audio up to 6.5,
All right.
because I'm also a tiny bit quiet.
Chicken Ninja. I thought that was perfect. Yeah, I do have noise suppression on a little bit.
It's close. It's super close.
It wasn't my fault. I told them
Oh, this
over
sounds
and
good.
over that it was an accident.
Perfect.
They wanted me to prove my worth. So they threw me up against a young whelp of a lad.
All
not
right.
old enough to grow his first
You're
chin.
good now. This is gonna be a
My
lot
wound
better.
wasn't strong enough to hurt him.
Let her finish her
I didn't
exposition.
want to die. Why would I want that? I just lost control.
We have no follow-up to the fact
There
that
you
she just murdered someone. Alright, you wanted to fix the tabbing out thing too? For the scroll. Yeah.
Yeah, that you're gonna have to just adjust to a borderless window.
Okay, how do you have to quit to do that?
So you don't want it to be like full screen. No, you gotta go to settings. Display. Scroll down. Actually, no, it's graphics. My bad.
Graphics in here. There are settings that can only be affected outside of the game.
Oh.
I already saved, so quit.
Okay. I mean,
You'll see.
just find where the setting is for. Actually, I can pull up Skyrim.
You open
I
it
do
here.
have that one. I
We'll
can
do it
find
step by step, stream. Step by step. We're all in this together. We're sucking it out of the wormhole of doom. Pulling it out. Alright. We are on high right now, so I want to be. Let's talk about that.
Options.
Options.
Oh, here you go. There it is. I've got the problem.
Borderless.
Windowed mode.
Borderless?
And it's already automatically borderless?
Yep.
Yep, you want borderless.
Okay.
Let's see how that works. That is crazy, Chinkin Nugget. I like your name, by the way. I hope you know that.
Pretty sure I know him in real life, too. Pretty sure I know you. Do I know you? Like you followed me just after I was telling my friends.
Don't answer that.
You don't have to tell me who you are. You don't have to answer that either, but...
He's interrogating you. You have four.
I am making conversation, thank you very much. Alright, we're back. I do. Okay.
Alright, that looks... you might want to just adjust it over because you can see...
We'll find it after.
Perfect, 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 perfect.
Message me on something afterwards if,
It looks great.
or even now. Tell me who you are. Alright, let's go to Discord real quick.
Don't dox him. Get that
I'm
Discord
not
over to the
doxing
side.
him. He's just... I feel like I'm gonna...
Yeah, pull that over to your other screen.
Well, I can't now. I'm not gonna tell anyone else who he is. I just want to know.
Yeah, you can.
Now I got it.
Pull the Discord over.
I did. Brother
There you
in
go.
Christ.
Sorry, I am on a delay.
We're good now.
Alright, hold on. I'm going to get back to hearing you in Discord instead of in-game.
Alright, we should be fine. I don't want to spend too much time on
Oh,
this
it's
stuff.
still coming through my other thing. You should be fine. I mean, I wouldn't see it being a problem past that, so... Just let me know if you need anything else.
Sounds good. Thank you. Very much appreciate it. Have a good
Alright,
one, man.
no
Enjoy the stream.
problem. Of course, yeah, I'll be back in a minute. I gotta get dinner.
Good.
Alright, talk to you later.
Talk to you later. Bye. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. So, you murdered a child? Not sure how to process that. Nords are very Klingon, in their temperament. I can very much see that happening, it being an accident. And to be fair, she didn't quite say he was a child. He was just a younger man. Still, got very carried away in a fight. That's the thing with aggression. That's kind of where I'm a lot of other things today. Everything's got to be balanced. Strength has to be balanced with prudence. And if you can't do that, you don't really fit in place of the companions. Do I think that totally warrants her never getting another chance? Perhaps not. Perhaps there are other ways that they could safely test her again in other settings, but I'm not gonna hold it indefinitely against her. And no reason to believe she deliberately did that. Wolves. Oh, oh, brutal. Dead doggos. Don't approach with weapons drawn. Full on 5 error, if anyone gets that reference. Oh, more vigilance to Stendar, I'm guessing.
Stendar's mercy be upon you, for the vigil has none to spare.
Salute to
Wherever
the
they
vigilant.
hide, the vigil of Stendar will cast them into the light.
Yeah, so we were talking about the fact that we were going to talk today about talking about messaging in video games. So, messaging in general. Is it avoidable? Does it matter? So on and so forth. So, is it avoidable? I think the answer to that one, is probably the easiest place to start, which is no. Can't ever fully avoid it. That being said, I don't believe that necessarily means you can't have an escape. And there's a big asterisk on the avoidability in that you can for a time. You can't overall, but you can create little pockets. And you always will, I mean, just necessarily part of the human experience will always provide an opportunity for that. Also, something to be said about, you know, these wide open spaces. You have these in shows, you have these in books, you have these in just about every artistic medium. And though they do themselves speak something to the human heart, that's a much more personal experience. But it's also worth noting that it's, you know, it's not something that we can avoid overall in our lives. It's not something that we need to avoid, right? And that's something we need to be scared of, like a lot of people are in the modern day. The fact that we are creatures living in expansive and connected world, and the things that we do, the people we engage with, those all have meaning on a deeper level and contribute to our understanding and the development of ourselves and the development of our understanding of the world. VR fishing in a nice cool miller. There you go. Yes. It is a great escape, and you know we have to redefine escape to an extent as well for this discussion, and that there really, though there isn't that purest escape that someone might think of when they first discuss it, there is still what often people mean is more a reference to their ability to process what's already going on in their own minds. And there is an art to that. There's an art to being able to step out of what's going on in the world. Even being able to do that in the moment. That's a wonderful thing to be able to learn to do. It's an essential thing for people to do, totally, in order to get to a place where they can truly say they are on top of themselves. An important part of being both an ethical and intellectual person is to be able to step out, slow things down, and just be. One of the part of the beauty of the biblical verse, "Be still and know that I am God," is that stillness is not just for our benefit, but also for His. Know in the biblical sense is a term of connection, intimacy, and it's a very active thing. And the truth of the matter is that we are all on a journey to be able to come to a place where we can consistently be ourselves and be aware of who we are, but still be living out of that. Living our lives in such a way where even in moments where we're doing nothing, we are contributing to the broader world. Walk here so we can keep going. Yeah, so can you totally get out of it? No. That being said, you are going to have moments that make it easier. Moments like these where it's just wide open. You can stop and pause and do to yourself what we're doing out loud here. Oh, looks like we have come across another adventure. It was already a good stopping point, so let's get into that, and then we will find our way back in. Well, it looks like things aren't so borderless anymore. I can't. Yeah, it's fine. This is on my phone still, so look at that. Up again. We'll pick up where we left off there. You know, escapes are to an extent possible, but you can't totally do it in any medium, even a medium that's just a nature scene, because there are those colors, the shapes are all going to have an impact. Like we live in a world designed to facilitate connection. There's nothing to be afraid of. It's only us that are capable of slowing things down and taking control. Skeevers. Yay. Not what I was expecting with that kind of an entrance. But we'll pick up there when we get back. As to knowing that, what does that mean? Are there different levels? And when is each level appropriate, right? When is it now the messaging is preachy? Is there a difference between entertainment and proselytization, between a sermon, and a video game. All those answers and more we'll get to later, and y'all are very welcome to participate in that. Yeah, that's the idea. That is a discussion. A lot of necromancers today. Ooh, we can level up. Let's do that. So what's been most tested recently, I would say, is stamina. We're gonna go with that, though we are already pretty high on that. Let's bring our magic up to speed. A little bit of healing and sparks earlier, though that was in a life that is now no longer with us because we died, but in our head canon we can retcon that. What to do? We've been using a lot of two-handed, so let's do that. Barbarian. We're dressed like one, so do a part in that. So we just did that. Let's bring out the bow. Start with a pick when you can get one, right? The witch. Said earlier about the need for me to learn fire spells. Now we're up against witches. It would be perfect. That is a shame. It is a shame that we don't have them, but it is what it is. Man. No. No. Don't bring a knife to a mace fight, ladies and gentlemen. Not much we can... Oh, we can... We were just talking about it. I know exactly what to do with the body. There we go. Something going on around here. Let's go finish that up before we desecrate the rest of the bodies, because and we should change our terms. It's not desecration, you know, like we were talking about earlier. It is sanctification. Someone could be dying, and that takes precedence. No. What? Are you? Ow! Meanie. Never trust them. I always keep bad company. Met some real life witches in my life, and so they sometimes put on a face, and even sometimes that face is half genuine. A witch is a witch, and like we were saying earlier, there's always connections. Things mean things, and there's a reason those stigmas exist. Usually the... Oh, I had a fireball spell. This whole time I had a fireball spell? Man. Anyone has arachnophobia might want to look away for this. Let's finish this guy. Bring out the big ol' hammer. What? What? That hasn't happened before. Now we gotta kill the witches all over again. You know, now that I say that, I'm not sure that's something I'd complain about. Let's let Uthkur deal with those guys. I want to see what's over here. Nothing interesting, really. What we did last time we did this, where we died impromptu, and not take things so carefully and lore accurate, so not to waste y'all's time. I might just die again.
Stand a chance.
Let's bring out the other mace because now we're just kind of swinging around, not making a lot of connections for some reason. The hitboxes aren't the best in this cave. There we go. Make a little bit more precise. You take care of her, Uthgerd, and I will moving on along. I want to know is what I was shooting at before I got here. Right? What? What? Okay.
Huh?
I ate that. Wait, literally. Third time's the charm, ladies and gentlemen. Dovahkiin! Oh, no. I was expecting to die again there. That's why I had that sad tone for the Dovahkiin, but apparently not. We lived. Just wanted to end it after being stuck doing this a third time, but alas, we'll just end the witches instead. I know what was different from last time is that we didn't use the bow. Uthgerd did. Right then. Fashion. Can't use magic if I'm up that close. Well, she can, but game mechanics won't let her. Now that we know that there's no other lives in danger in here, let's just loot some stuff. A little bit of a Fallout vibe from that last chord. Any Fallout fans here? Can you hear that? I'm reminiscing to Vegas there. Who am I stealing the death bell from? The rest isn't stealing for some reason? Where'd that staff go? That's important. And this, the money. Kidding me. Can anyone see where that went? I know, right? I'm never gonna believe who made this music for Fallout. I know. They're the same company. That's the point. The point is that they're the same company. It's neat to see that they allowed some overlap there. Or maybe it was unintentional. Maybe it was just a subconscious mind getting involved, which is something that connects to what we were just talking about, but I think we'll come back to it at the very end of that discussion topic. About Jung and Freud, psychologists. Let's not. What is happening? Like, it did not do that. Whoa, ragdoll physics. I got men bug crack cast on me there. Reference to the chat if you're someone watching this on YouTube. And I quote, "All wizards are in spellcasters. Act all tough until I cast men butt crack." That is a real comment we got on this thing. A legendary comment, I should say. Chicken noon shit, of course. Nice. I'm biting my ankles. We're at 4 viewers right now. Thank you all for being here. Oh, 6 now. Wow. Okay. Well, thank you all. I really appreciate it. Like, it really means a lot, especially this early on. process of my picking up streaming. The needs for affiliate are 3 average viewers, and it is doing so much to help, and I really hope that you're enjoying the stream. I hope that you're getting as much out of this as I am having you here, which is also, you know, just the fun of getting to experience this with everyone. It's been great talking to Chicken Nugget. Great to see PB back. I give him pop in, and that's what streams are all about. That's why we stream instead of just making videos, right? Is so that we can have active participation with the community. And yeah, I hope that y'all will consider keep coming back and joining that with us. Help us build this community into something where there's a lot of engagement and we're all having a lot of fun. Is there anything we can do to stop that? There is! I was not honestly expecting that to work. But Skyrim physics paid off right there. Okay. Let's quick save. Alright, so that's probably number 4 of this fairly rudimentary dungeon. Alright. Just let myself process for a second. That was a lot for doing that 4 times in a row. Need a second. You need a second? Get back into that mentality of stillness. Life and media in general would be better if people took more time to just sit for a moment and take everything in. You're a spooky guy. Arachnophobes, look away. Man, this guy is not making our lives easy. I am admittedly a little nervous about this. He can do a lot of damage, especially with his poison attacks. Yeah, I want to use the fireball scroll, but I also don't want to kill Uthgard. I think she is a necessary NPC, so she shouldn't die, but I don't know for sure. I actually took a wrong potion. Alright, let's try the scroll of fireball. Come on, come on. There you go. Just give it a little enough distance that it doesn't hurt. Hurt Uthgard. Eat some food. Pause combat to down a lot of cheese. I love that in Skyrim. Like, the best food source you can get is a roll of cheese. Which, to be honest, true to real life too, I feel like. Let me know, anyone who's watching right now, opinions on cheese. Is it the goat? Is goat cheese the goat? Or can you not take dairy at all? Why? I didn't hit him. Well, I did hit him. The game didn't register that I hit him. I have to be precise here. Die. Didn't mean me. Okay. Try it again. When you fail, try again. But first you don't succeed. That's how the saying. You know what? I think the game's trying to tell me something by leaving this for us. That is how we'll deal with it this time. Right now, let's let Uthgard handle these guys. I want to give spiders unnecessary screen time. I'm an Earthgird. Earn that paycheck. I love they still decide to attack me. It is validating. We've come across enemies earlier in this that have decided that I was less threatening than a horse, for example. Like they prioritized killing the horse instead of me. Which is just not good for my ego or mental health. That didn't work out too well last time. So we'll save the fireball spell. More witches. Okay. Bring this guy out, and we'll just spam stamina potions until he's dead. You may not even need to. Uther's got it. There we go. Alright. That is all the loot we get from that. A bandito. Don't know how he ended up here, given that the witches were outside. Maybe they just didn't care. But that's a him problem. Gonna shed many a tear over by a spider, though. To be fair, I'm not really sure that's a way even he would deserve to go out. Or there. Not what I meant. Not what I meant. Rolling my axe. Lovely. Increase your stamina by 10 points. We could use that. So if frost, we now have 2 frost bows. That's neat. That amulet on. That's gonna level up right when we get outside. Not available. Yeah, we got some great loot on us. When we get to a vendor, we are going to... Oh, that's not what I was expecting to be behind the door. Usually, what's behind those doors is the outside world, but not today. Because we're about to run out of ancient Nordic arrows, and I'm too lazy to switch out halfway through the fight. Bling! Leash is not a vampire. I'm gonna give it like a 50-50 chance that she was not a witch. It is behind a secret door. So, not so secret, to be fair. Does it open from both sides? Yes, it does. So, it's not like they were trapped in here, they didn't know. So it wasn't really secret from anyone. Just someone making use of the natural environment. That's gonna be a way for us to go in a minute. Finish looting. Yep. I think we're right. That's gonna level us up. Level 1 is something nice. Big elk. Friend. A Spriggan trap. Haggraven. There we go. There's the answer to what's really going on in these caves. What makes it so special. Usually is a Haggraven the witch. Beating the witches, I mean. Being said, the Skyrim lore on the matter is that Haggravens were at one point witches. Like a final evolution. This kind of makes sense. You know, remember what we were talking about with archery earlier? How I am not good at it?
Stand a chance.
Please, no! Oh. It was quite violent. Well, let's hope she's an essential on PC, because... Okay, she is, because otherwise she was about to get gassed. If you're a little bit stealthier, probably could have freed the Spriggan. That would have helped, but alas. It's the old-fashioned way. Yeah, we're gonna use that in a moment. I'm gonna try and paralyze her first. I'm gonna heal, paralyze her, do as much damage as we can. Then switch to Mace and Shield and use the Warrior Potion to give me more damage on that. And the shield will allow us to bash her, which will keep her from continuously using her spells over and over again. If you're in chat, now's a good time to take a bet as to whether or not we survive this fight the first time. Suggest using Ask the 8 Ball. Use Actually, we spent a good amount of time working on that this last week. Exclamation point 8 Ball. We type in the chat. Should get back something fun. Let me know. Let me know what it tells me. What my chances are in this case. Oh, I do kind of feel a little bad for her. That is some strained breathing. But I feel less bad now. Seeing those eyes. Bring up. Always, you know, it's how most good fights start. Hope you're liking the Bucky shirt, by the way. Bucky's Hawaiian shirt. Gotta not use my stamina for the hits, use it for the bashes. We're so close that she's not using any spells, and we're just like dodging all of her slashes. Surprised Uthgard hasn't gone back in the fight yet. Where are we going? Oh! Apparently nowhere. Woo! That was violent. I love it. Got some Hagraven feathers. Man, we just kneecapped her and then uppercutted her with a mace. Brutal. An appreciation is necessary for the makers of Skyrim. Do I free the Spriggan? I bet I'm gonna regret it. I feel like it's only there to give you an edge in this fight. That being said, it is technically the right thing to do. We are playing the hero in this game. Of course, we're in this RPG. You get to choose whether or not you are, but I'm going to. Man, she did not get the best of things. She has 2 arrows pierced through her skull and another through her neck. That's something straight up like a DM's head. Narrates how you killed him. Oh, brutal kills. Alright. Well, let's free the Spriggan. Maybe it'll be nice to us. If not, always loot the body. Think positive. Hello? Hello? Are we enemies? No, we're not. Praise be Jesus. Alright, she wants to go fight witches, it looks like, so let's go with her and help her. Oh. Never mind, maybe she's just escaping. Because there it is again. I'm feeling that Vegas, oh man. We're so gonna play that on this channel. That's gonna be a fun one when we get there. Yeah, no, we're just like on the other side of the way out, so. Well, we'll wish her the best. Brigands aren't usually violent, so feel no need to take her down for the good of Skyrim. We did a good thing today, people. Would have helped us out if we had done it during the fight, but alas, we did it after. No, you don't. You think of, you know, doing good things. It doesn't always have to pay you back immediately for it to be, or to be said that truthfully it did
Let's get going.
pay you back. It always comes around to helping you. Even if it's just on broader level in the world. You never know what that person is going to go out and contribute to society. Dump a few more things. Uthgard. In a sense. Give her the Bow of Frost. I want to keep the better one for myself. That'll be useful. I'll keep that. Don't need that.
Lead on then.
Yeah. Chat, how are we feeling about the Bucky's Hawaiian shirt? Is it or is it not the vibe? I feel like it'd be an amusing contrast. I'm going to bring into the dungeons of Skyrim. Look at that. Glorious stuff, guys. Once again, you can't beat the beauty of Skyrim. Or Borealis. You approach the throat of the world, as they call it in Skyrim. How do I sound, by the way? I feel like I'm enunciating, but I'm a little bit stuffy today. I'm mumbling. Anyone out there feel like letting me know? Level up is available. We'll get to that in just a minute. Someone knocked over a cart here. We're good? Oh no.
You're looking a little rough around the edges. You feeling all right?
I was gonna say the same thing to
They
you,
gone?
man.
Bandits attacked and ransacked my cart. Can you help me?
I would be delighted, good sir. What can I do?
My camp is nearby in the ruins of Nilheim. Get me there safely, and you'll be rewarded.
I think we can do that. Appears to be on the
Just
way.
across the bridge and up that hill.
Well, we're trying to finish up the discussion, get that intermission. Since we had to break for tech support, we will go a little bit extra long today to make up that time.
We're close now. I can see the camp.
There's no way we're not going to get ambushed.
Wait here. I'll be right back with your reward. Now ain't this a surprise? Did you hear something?
Yep, that's what I thought.
Ready so I can take your spell.
Aw, I think it was a nice kill animation for him.
Can't wait to count your coin.
Sometimes it's more fun to just walk right into an ambush. He was very sus just sitting there. You could tell by the fact that he was not at all seemed disturbed by the mess of the situation that he was probably the one responsible for it. I was sitting there hiding in the bushes and bringing us up to a fort like your camp. What are you doing out there? Are you a hunter?
I swear I'll kill you.
Sorry that you will die. What? It looked like it was going to go into a kill animation and then it didn't. But yeah, she's not going to die able to fulfill her oath. I think the game can't decide if she's really dead or not. Oh, she's had a heart attack. She has lost the will to live, knowing that she will not be able to take my life. Fine by me. Just for that, she will be first to take this journey today. Oh. Yeah. No! 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 Ah! Come on, man.
Huh?
And we're all the way back here. That's what I get for trying to have a little bit of fun. I want to throw a band off a cliff and then... Yeah. Well, let's level up before we get into that fight this next time. Don't know if it'd be fun to just... Yeah. I'll just kill him right away. Now I'll follow him. Be more brand for the Dragonborn. But it's more fun to walk into an ambush sometimes. Oh, thank you much for being here if you're watching right now. I'm sorry that we have this little setback here. Since we've already been through it, though, we can use this time to talk.
Ransack my cart. Can you help me? My camp is nearby in the ruins of Nilheim. Get me there safely, and you'll be rewarded.
In real life, I won't have a lot more questions in this scenario, but we're just gonna let it happen.
It's just across the bridge and up that hill.
Alright, so back to the discussion question for today. What is the appropriate role of messaging in media? And we've already established that it's something that is more or less unavoidable to an extent. Everything's always going to carry a meaning.
Wait here. I'll be right back with
Everything in life carries a little bit. We are intricately connected to our world.
Now ain't this a surprise?
Now, what does it, there is some way to escape from it, though, in the sense that there are things that more facilitate the ability to simply step back and be thoughtful about what's going on. What makes those things happen? And to what degree? How often should they exist in a piece of media? So on and so forth. That's where we are right now. On that note, one of the last questions I asked before we took a break from it earlier is there variability in that? Does it depend on the type of media? And I think most people intuitively know that answer to be, of course, yes, it does. There are different situations where humans are very setting-dependent creatures, I guess is a way to put it. We don't process things the same way at one time. We don't process everything together at one time. We rotate through different experiences to holistically approach the human experience. And entertainment is something in and of itself. It's different than certain points that are dedicated to conveying particular messages, and different types of art will also be conveyed to conveying different things. Some things are trying to evince emotional reactions. Other things are going to... Right. You sound so sad. It's so sad there a moment ago, miss. I'm glad you love a good fight. Can't say you're probably gonna get one. But... Well, PB, welcome back. Good to have you. It's going good. Or was I? So, yeah, it's going to depend a lot on the medium. There are some things that you go for the messages to get. You know, places where you are going to escape, you're trying to focus on processing things yourself. And so, I think Skyrim is a good example of how it, these things ought to be addressed in video games. It never tells you exactly what the right thing is. It just puts you in situations where you can process them yourselves. It gives you the opportunity to engage with moral quandaries and to decide for yourself, go back and forth, and see what the natural results of those things are. The place where that gets difficult is that you're always going to be somewhat affected by the perceptions of the person making the game. Even, you know, they're ultimately going to have to show the results of your actions, and they may not always get those right. And I think an important part of being someone who enjoys a game, or enjoys any sort of media in general, is the ability to appreciate not only that the work of art is something that you can embrace and analyze and think through, but also the person who created it, and doesn't necessarily... No, we're not living our lives. We're not here to just merge ourselves into the world, but we're here to put ourselves into it. And so we can do that with the kind of the worldview that the makers of the game set for us. There is a, you know, when things start to get overtly preachy and so on and so forth, I can say there's no place for that. This is where we have a good opportunity to transition into talking about philosophical or psychological figures such as Carl Jung and Freud, who I mentioned earlier, talking about the fact that humans process things best in different ways, and they need times where they can just get themselves set in a certain way of thinking, and having media that enables them to do that. For example, a painting, or a Christian, a cross, for example. These things have a natural effect on your mind. There is an objectivity to the human experience. They're going to affect the way you perceive the world and the kind of things that enter both your heart and your mind. So there are situations where you want media that's going to be able to do that for you, where you can choose that. But you also, as both a game designer and someone taking that in, be able to understand that's not going to be for everyone, and that's okay. Maybe that makes it a little bit more valuable, maybe that makes it a little bit less valuable. But I think the value in that comes in what it does for a person. That's essential. Even if you're not someone who gets something out of it, for there to be spaces where someone can kind of foment their own ideology, for not necessarily lack of a better word, but a lack of focus right now while I'm trying to throw these bodies off a cliff. What I think grinds people's gears a lot in the modern world is that things that were designed to be and had traditionally been kind of an open space where everyone could feel welcome and participate and really put themselves into the world and use that as a means of thinking things through for themselves. Things like Star Wars, Star Trek, other Rings of Power, for example, which has its own different set of problems. I think a lot of people are more concerned with the production quality of that in general, but also the changing of the story and the themes is a big part of that. But to move on. Other than I want to get the head honcho and I want to throw him in the waterfall. It's not only that, as with everything, anything in life, there's usually more than one layer to any situation, but there's a part of it that's just, a desecration. That's something. There are things in life that we don't talk about them as much in the modern world because the way we live our lives, the kind of system we interact with on a daily basis, is not as attuned to matters of glory and the value of principle, but it is nonetheless true in a universal part of the human experience that there are things that are sacred, things that transcend the material world and their value. And these people have, and that the currency of that world is investment, it's emotion. It's that feeling when you watch these shows that you've loved since you were a kid and you can go back and appreciate where you were when you first watched it and how you've grown as a person, the things that you've held on to, your growth, the way you developed in your life that you got from that experience. When someone comes in and starts dramatically changing that, it doesn't take the time to appreciate what is at the core of that story. It's a violation of that. It is, violation is a good word for it. That's why, when the first thing comes to mind when you think of violation is rape, for example. It's what makes it so wrong is that your body has, or not all that makes it so wrong, another part that makes it evolve is physical and it's painful, and it's an extremely important part of why it's wrong. Also because you know that you have an intrinsic value and that someone is robbing you of that and forcing themselves upon you. And when these designers come in and they just take something for themselves and make it something totally different than what it was before, that changes things. But there's also something to be said on the flip side that near the edge of the lake. Look for where a great tree once stood. That is where I buried it. Let's make this look. We gotta wrap this up here so we can get to intermission soon, so I'm trying to get through this. Something still working on being able to talk through these things while I play a video game. Sometimes I ramble a little bit more than I intend to because I don't have the Yep, this is gonna get violent. I knew it would. Mental energy I would put into making things more concise, is being put into this man's brain. Different sort of messaging to someone's mind. I think he got the message. At least his friend did, because I don't see him anywhere. And we got that buried treasure, which was very underwhelming for buried treasure, mind you.
I will destroy you.
There's a sacredness aspect to... Oh, an assassin. I always get jumped by this assassin here when I play this game. I don't know if there is, like... They would attack you anywhere. That was here. But, yeah, for the Dark Brotherhood, I am not impressed by that. You'll find out as we go on just how unimpressive that was. Underwhelming for a group like the Dark Brotherhood, who, as we'll find out when we read this. Pick up this note. Nope, wrong one. My bad. This so we can belt on. Use. Learn those spells. Come on. Dark Brother Assassin. Yep. Starts with a D. My bad. As instructed, you are to eliminate Jack of Clubs by any means necessary. Ouch. The Black Sacrament has been performed. Someone wants this poor fool dead. Oh, so ouch. No need to be so mean. Don't have to assume that just because someone wants to kill me that I have to be a fool. Guard receive payment for the contract. Failure is not an option. So, all around, very unpleasant people. Astrid. Well, here's something called the Dark Brotherhood. Don't know if this character would know who they are. But, yeah, they, we know that whoever they are probably not going to give up after just the death of one assassin. Not really how that kind of thing works. If you pay someone to kill someone, you expect it to go well. Especially because if it doesn't, the person who paid them usually ends up getting caught, and sometimes they'll take matters into their own hands in order to make sure that they don't. Let's level up and make some food while we finish up this conversation here. So let me take an intermission and come back to something different. Do Magicka again because we're pretty low. Oh, we can do it again. Let's do health. Yeah, pretty balanced. Being a jack of all trades, we're really going for this time. Let's go for something more practical. Thinking smithing. Oh, I think our archery is where we need the most right now, actually. I'm level 25. We can do this. Okay, that probably helped me. Wait. Oh, it requires 30, my bad. Both do. See if this one does. Nope, I can take it again. Alright. Well, I can't use it. Well, we'll pretend that we are. Sit here by the fire. Good view of the world of Skyrim. Sit back and finish this up. Bit. So, when we analyze these things, we don't just talk about what's wrong, going wrong, but even to understand what's wrong, we need to know. Right, and that's also important. Having a positive mentality for humanity in general, we work better when we're looking to make something happen, to build something, and are, as we go, finding the faults, finding the things that challenge us to do that, and merely relying on our senses to, without having that, pick up on what is going wrong in series like Star Wars, for example, I think the Acolyte is a big example. Rings of Power, especially because it allows us to have a broader context, broader understanding of why we feel like it's wrong, if we know what is right in the first place. I think that's something that some people really struggle with more, which when you think about it doesn't really make much sense, right? Because I feel like it's wrong for a reason. And if it's wrong, that means it's a violation of something. But not a lot of people know what those things are. Okay. Not essential right now to look at that. So that's kind of where people like Jung, especially in Freud, come into play. Freud less so. Freud is, especially in the modern world, is less used. There's some serious flaws in his view of the human person, especially when it comes to dealing with emotions, not appreciating as much modern psychologists and even some of his contemporaries like Jung, who we'll get to in a moment, were able to. Didn't really have a good grasp on the fact that people can put emotions into other things than on their original form. And it's even a flaw that isn't quite accounted for in steam engine perspective of the human experience, because what makes a steam engine go is the conversion of something from one state into another, and we can do that with our emotions. But what he did get right was some elements of the kind of forces that exist within one's mind. But that doesn't work as well without his base for that wasn't quite as good as Jung's was. Jung had a very good base, Freud had a lot of good extremities. That's how most psychologists, I think most people, when they hear it, can appreciate it as intuitive. Jung's base is this idea of the human person having the person themselves. There's the light, and then there's the shadow. The human person is the metaphor, the representation of, well, a person, someone who is wholly themselves, but also not able to fully process who they are at any given moment. They have unknowns as to who they are. They have things affecting them that are making things not as readily available to their minds. They can't fully bring everything into the moral calculation in some cases, or any other, the philosophical calculation of what is their place in the world, what does life mean. There are things that inhibit that, and that's part of the human experience. And anything that doesn't quite make it through that ends up becoming the shadow. That is the subconscious parts of ourselves. And a lot of people, when they think of the shadow, on a kind of a negative tone to it, as opposed to seeing sort of like a yin and yang sort of. What he was more getting at is that it's not always a bad thing. We have shadows for a reason. Part of what makes life a morally diverse experience, what enables the ability for mankind to have a moral journey, is the fact that we are not wholly ourselves at any one moment. We can encounter new stimuli and change. And part of how we do that is the fact that light exists on the other side. There is a true meaning of who we are. And even though we can't process it all those things are still there, right? So if you took away all, the tiredness, the fatigue, the other things weighing on someone's mind, there would be a definitive form of who that person is. Everything would lock together. Everything that is in the subconscious mind would process through, and people would come to conclusions about how they really feel about something, for example, that they know how they feel about. All those things would click in, and you'd have a full view of the person. But since we can't process all of that, there creates this opposite end of the spectrum, the shadow. I think that does a pretty good job of explaining it. So there's kind of the true you in the final calculation. There's the you of the moment, and then there's the you that's not being fully processed. And the one we identify as the us of the moment, because that's the one with agency. That is the one that all of those things exist. They have a form. They have the stillness component. They don't have the active component. In another word, connection versus agency. The big thing in psychology, especially when it comes to men and women, which one they place more, get more out of engaging with the world, or processing the world, deepening their appreciation of it. What Freud brought to the table on the other end of the spectrum is kind of these other voices like conscience, and other voices like temptation, representations of both things in the physical world and things that transcend the physical world. He wasn't a believer himself in that, but it easily fits into that perspective, the idea of kind of a good angel and a bad angel on either shoulder. And those are other forces that are constantly affecting that human experience, and that includes, like we said, the physical world. That's how we sort of bleed into the messaging, right? Is that the things that we surround ourselves with will have an effect on both that shadow and the final end conclusion, right? So if something goes into our shadow, we have managed to put it out of our minds for a moment, but the human being is, the brain is a muscle. It has fatigue. Eventually those things are going to have to click in. And so we are ultimately subject to those. They will have an effect on how we view the world, the kind of actions we'll take. Then they'll surprise us. We'll do something we weren't expecting to do, because they've been brewing in the back of our minds for a long time, and they just finally clicked in. Like, oh, if this is what I really believe, then this is what I really ought to do. This is what makes sense with that. We are creatures of consistency. We have the ability to be inconsistent, because we aren't fully together at one time. But eventually that bill does come due. And I promise there's a point to all of this. Reason why I explained it all. Well, yes, in the end we want to be where that light is. The Christian view of the world is that there is both, to a sense, a light within. There's a seed, and then there's the light without, the sun, and that is God himself. And not only is there a need to bring that light into the shadow to transform both the human, the whole human experience in conformity with the light, there's also a force on the inside that's reaching out and trying to meet them. And so to truly come to the fullest experience of what it means to be a good and fully complete person, one needs to explore both. One needs to explore both what is on the outside and what is on the inside. So where does media come into play in that? And how does it affect how we process things? Well, Jung pointed out, as we talked about earlier, that we need time to both be interacting with the world and to be still. And in that stillness, we're able to process and do. And in the activity, we're able to intake, think of how you eat versus digestion. And so there are going to be games and media that serve to digest, and games that serve to feed us. People will interact with those in a different way, and they both have a sort of value to them. It's not, if Star Wars had started out as something where something that was an overtly preachy text, like it had a clear message, and it does actually, to be fair, we'll get back to that, I would respect that. It's that the author that has a right to convey that, because at the end of the day, we at least hope that we can sort of get something right. We can come to a conclusion. We don't have to have total openness. And it's an impossible part of the human experience, right? We can't fully integrate our shadows, life, or at least only for brief moments. And so that means there's always going to need to be bones that hold us up, things we don't consciously think about, messages that are just there holding a piece of work together. Things about views on what matters in life and why life exists. So it's important when you consume, respect the fact that it is an expression of the person who is making it. On the flip side, that person is also making someone else to enjoy, and they also need to create opportunities, like Skyrim has spaces for you to process those things. And there are games, interestingly, like Skyrim, that are more into development, right? Like, you're not a game that's constantly shoving a message down your throat. Every decision you make, you have multiple choices, even if the game designers don't always give you all the choices possible that one would have in real life. You have a diversity of them. You have time to sit and think those things through. And those things affect the way that we encounter those things, real life situations we come into, we think back to those moments, lead into that shadow, both in the conscious and subconscious mind. Back, help us later. So where does it fall into play? I think that the answer is that there is value to both. That there needs to be both for society to be healthy. And that it is, like we were talking about earlier, it is important for someone who creates a piece of media that, because humans are creatures of sentiment and we need those bones to stay alive. We need to know that when we go to watch something, go to a space that has been somewhere where we, for lack of a better word, have a safe space of sorts, and just think through the things that are weighing heavily on our hearts and minds. If you change that on, you may somewhat, you may have the right to do that as an author, but it doesn't mean you have the right to demand them to appreciate it, because you have changed the value of the piece of work. One of the disgusting, it's called legitimately disgusting trend modern entertainment is things like The Acolyte, where the actor outright criticizes the audience for not being able to appreciate the work, which is just a disingenuous way to engage with your audience. Humans are not, can't always expect them to view things the way that you do. Totally fine. Part of the human experience is growing together. That's a part of facilitating connections. We form emotional attachment by the very fact that we need each other to run along the way. Like we are right here watching Skyrim. So can there be too much messaging media? Of course there can. There can be a violation of that sacred intimacy that exists between well, two people. Alright. If this was a sermon, this is a mixed media format, I probably could have done a better job at making that concise and could have brought in a few other things, but sometimes you just have to surrender things to God, and hope I got out what, or not hope, trust, know that what I got out is what people, positive impact on people's lives. And like we were just talking about, people grow, and so will I. I'm new to this whole streaming thing. I get used to playing games, and I get my schedule in order so I can think these things through better before I go live and talk about them. And hopefully as more people come in, there'll be the idea as well as that I'm not just sitting here talking to the camera, but actively engaging these things through with y'all, asking questions. And hopefully that'll be a lot of fun. I think it will. Not for everyone, and I don't blame everyone for that not being their thing. If that's the kind of thing you want, you're more than welcome to join us on Mondays. Enjoy the moments of adventure and combat that we engage in with these games. It looks like, from the viewer count, things have been pretty consistent, so I hope y'all have been enjoying this. I appreciate very much you being here. I look forward to talking more. When we come back after our intermission, oh, we got a bear here. We're going to shift topics to freedom versus security, something very topical for Skyrim. Bear! If you follow us, our Galactica, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to find out if that is us. Oh dear, we may indeed be Battlestar Galactica. Apparently we are. Not a bad thing to be. At least I thought the remake was pretty good. Talk about a, very topical, is a controversial decision in there to make Starbuck a girl. Not everyone liked that, because there is something intrinsic to being a man, and there are things that there are scientifically proven differences in how the chemicals in our body affect the ways that we think. There are differences in the way brains are structured. So Starbuck is going to be a different person in a reboot if he's made into a girl. It's not a bad thing. Not all differences are bad. Most differences are quite good, actually. If not all of them. They at least all have a good side to them. But that was controversial because there are people to whom Starbuck was a hero. But there's also something to be said in their defense about the fact that in years since the first thing came out, they are engaging with a new audience, and there are things, virtues, and ideas attached to character of Starbuck that they wanted the audience to be able to appreciate and more deeply. So that's something to diligently think through when you're creating a piece of media. Gauge what your audience is going to want, how they're going to react to it, how much you respect that. Most common solution is to just make another character. I think that's what most people would go with, because that allows for the preservation of what, when someone comes back all these years later, after the initial media was created and re-engages with it, the investment they made as a kid, the time they put into that series, they get that back. It pays off. They don't feel like a part of that investment depreciated in value by the time they get there, because form has been substantially changed. I think that's what they probably should have done in that case, but also there are times where what really matters to you, what made the character who they are, is parts of their personality that could be as well applied to a female character as to a male character, and it gives you that value we're thinking about earlier. So it's not a totally black and white thing. I think the Starbuck one, at least for me, wasn't too bad. I felt like it was fine, especially because I can still go back and appreciate the old thing. That doesn't mean that's what they and it probably would have been a worse experience if they tried to shoot in another female character that was so similar to Starbuck that we could still get that experience. But I think the way to go about that, at least when you're author creating a piece of, at least call it like an alternate universe. Which they kind of did, to be fair. They did not phrase this as a total just the same show with a visual upgrade, for example. The lines are going to be different, the characters are going to be different. And that's why I think that most people don't think of that as egregious. Think about other things. Alright. Now it's time for intermission. We died there. I did want to kill the bear. Let's see if we can still kill it before we move on. And then we'll take a brief intermission. We can go to the bathroom. Hopefully people will take the opportunity to grab some food, something to drink, and think through how I can go through the next discussion topic a little bit more engaging and fun way. And we'll go from there. Yep, the bear is still here, so... Yep. Do a service to the people of Skyrim. He's just a little bit too close to the road for comfort. Sorry, I love bears. Probably my favorite wild animal, to be honest. But we're gonna do what we gotta do. If we can actually pull it off, that is. Angry. Discussion topic for another time. The ethics of taking animal life. Veganism, all sorts of things. I'm sure there will be a game that, or moment that particularly leans to that. Yeah, another big thing on the whole conciseness thing is making those big discussion topics smaller so that, or more briefly stated, I should say, so that I can elaborate more when we come across something in the game that has a visual we can connect to it. Well, this is so sad. I don't want to... Deserves to have died on his feet. Nothing wrong. Just the way it needed to be. Alright, there he goes. More respect for the bear. Fairness, the bear is not capable, having committed injustices against the world. Alright. So, right outside the gates of Iverstead, that is a good place for us to call our break. We'll level up once we get back after we've gone through the town of Iverstead. And then we will finish today off with an ascent to the Greybeards. Thank you so much for being here. I would like to throw it again that you can deepen your own experience of this type of our community here, the games that we play, by joining us on the other platforms that we're on, such as Instagram, X, and YouTube, where you can find more exclusive content. And yeah. Alright, I am a little bit burnt out, if you can't tell, by all that. It's been a long day. But I love being here. I love being with y'all. Thank you so much. It means a very great deal. It's like we've had an average of 5 viewers this entire time. That is going to be great for us when it comes to getting affiliate. If we get another couple of chatters in here, there's 2 boxes checked off. It'll make a world of difference in the kind of quality of production we're able to put out. It means better video games. It means openness. We can open things up to bits. Have actual subscriptions. We're going to have celebrations for that sort of thing. Overlays, more things for y'all to do on the stream as opposed to just watching and chatting. And so much more. So hopefully you stick around to that point so you can get to enjoy that. Enjoy what you've helped us to build to. Once again, yeah, just thank you all so much for being here, for making this possible for me, making this possible for everyone else as a part of this community. I love y'all, and I will see you in about 10 minutes. Alright, I am back. Oh, still here. I very much appreciate that, and it's great to see everyone. Or at least be seen. I had a good break. I hope y'all did too. Gave me a minute to clear my head. Think some things through, both for... Ooh, turn this down. I want to let it get to good stuff. I totally cut it off. Clear my head, think through the next thing, and also think through the last. So appreciate that first of the day a little bit and what it means to me, especially even in this moment, right, as I'm doing this stream. It's first one ever picked spontaneously for the show. There was the first verse of the day, was posted fittingly on Sunday yesterday, but that one I picked not the beginning of the Gospels, but the beginning of the Gospel of John, and one of the the most notable passages of such in the Bible, outside of like the beginning arc of Genesis, the one that I felt was more fitting for my personality. The part of the idea of the New Testament is that it is in a way more important than the Old. Yeah, I was able to just sort of soak in the importance of being able to, well, if we go doing so, knowing that no matter what follows next is going to be peace, right? And that's something I have to appreciate myself. We were talking about at the end there how, it's not like I had time to sit and really meditate on all these things before talking. It's not like I have a lot of experience as a streamer. It's not like it's been I've done this kind of thing before, but it's been a while since I've talked this sort of thing in a more public setting, a place where it really mattered how concise it was, where there wasn't always someone to bounce something off of. But I still have to press forward on that and trust that it's going to work out, because it's something that people need, right? It's, I think, a part of the modern human experience is being in a world where controversy has kind of driven us into an area where we don't feel like talking about these things anymore, which is a very sad thing, and it's only going to make things worse. It's important that these things move us to learn to talk better rather than to not talk at all, right? And the fact that I can even sit here and feel like there is room to grow is both a testament to the fact that shadow exists and to the fact that the light exists, and those are important things. The light tells me that there is hope, that things are going to get better, that there is food that inevitably will lead to me becoming a better streamer, and also the fact that seed exists. There are things, nourishment to be appreciated right now. Like this is awesome. This is really cool. There is a pride to be had in what we're doing, a joy to be had. Something just like intrinsically cool about it. It's a wonderful thing. It's cool to see what works and what isn't. You can learn from that. So, and that's part of the human experience. It's something that can be appreciated. Yeah. So, thinking. I wrote my thoughts down a little bit. So it's important, that to respect the process. I'll talk more about what my process is later. That's relevant right now because we're talking about philosophical themes, and there are things that in my own, I talked earlier about how every type of medium, it matters. There is a certain type of messaging that's appropriate. Streaming is a pretty unique one, and it's even a question if streaming itself counts as that. All streamers ought to behave in the same way, or that it depends on the streamer, and I side with that one. But what that means here, the kind of things I'm going to talk about and not talk about, I want to make a specific video on that. But yeah, I think it's a great thing that I'm able to have this conversation. I think it's great to see that people are still here, and I feel like it's something people are very starved for, are going to enjoy. And I hope that as people keep coming back here, and I get better at talking, it'll make it easier for people to enjoy it being a discussion, as much as it is also like a lecture in a sense. But yes, and it's a wonderful thing that I think is happening in our generation, is a growth and maturity in that respect. Maturity is being able to, right, both not necessarily pressure oneself to be fully in line with that light, that, you know, the light, but in line with just where they are, right? To be able to accept and control the shadow, put things out of their mind to build a bridge that's going to make it easy to interact with other people later. To put aside the differences that people have and to just focus on those things that we can all agree on and appreciate. When we do that, it'll make for a better environment for us to come back to those other things. And as most things, it is a duality. Both things are important. You need to be able to put it aside, and also you need to be able to realize that it does matter you get there, because any process doesn't matter without there being an end to it, right? The process is not itself the entirety of an end. There is an end to our lives. There's something we're building towards, and there's a deepening of community that can be had, that happens when people can come to a consensus on those things, and we don't need to be afraid of that. All right. With all that aside, one such place where that is particularly relevant is in the freedom versus security argument, which is something that is very important to the world of Skyrim. Kind of a very popular thing to do in media is to sort of put two strawmen against each other, and it's a great thing. It's a very effective method. Also important to recognize that the answer is not in either strawman, and that's something I think people can fall a lot into, because it's easier to just throw yourself under the banner of one side or another than to do the work it takes to reconcile the difficulties presented by having both those things, by being able to live in a world where both those things matter. But nonetheless, in this case, they very much do. I said earlier that I came with my personal life this last week, and I'm not going to talk too much about this exact issue. Kind of same thing on that whole kind of thing I'm going to talk about and not going to talk about on here, at least on the gaming side of things. Who knows, maybe we'll start another discussion podcast elsewhere for these sorts of things. But trying to keep it a general principles for right now. Yeah, we're talking, I'm an educator, I work at a school, I'm also an American and a Boy Scout, I'm an Eagle Scout, I'm a veteran. So I've been around guns my whole life, and that is somewhere where in the United States, especially right now, and all across the world, there's a big debate being had on freedom versus security. There's a different one going on in Skyrim. In this case, it is freedom to religion to an extent, and also the private good versus the public good. Is it right for the Empire to be able to help people to not worship Thanos, and is it worth it to avoid a war, to avoid dying at all? Should they punish people for breaking those rules, and if so, how much? And are those punishments because they deserve it, or is it only for a broader cause? All those things are very interesting and important elements to discuss in their own right. But we're mostly going to be focusing on the broader context in general on this stream. That being said, we do have some Skyrim to play while we do that, and right now we have just arrived at the town of Iverstead. Late at night, we probably want to find an inn. Right, I'll do that right around a guard. Talk about, private citizens owning weapons. Just pulling it out right in front of the guard there. I'm sure that did not make him feel very comfortable. I'm thinking. Yeah, so we'll play a little bit of the game and come back to that maybe while we make the climb up to the Greybeards. Where the inn is. My map's there's gotta be like a map of Iverstead in this, right? Yeah. The house. Here's the inn. So I gotta walk down this way, and it'll be on my right.
A dragon has attacked White Rock. How could mere men bring down such a beast?
Yes, you've asked that before. I probably will. I probably will at one point. I see that being as a Thursday type of game, unless there's really a high demand for me to play it all the way through. I'll probably hop on. If you keep asking for it, I'll hop on it a little bit one Thursday and do a little bit of that. But right now, I don't know that that's something that the majority of my audience would want, the majority of my prospective audience, the audience I'm going for, would want. So it probably won't be a full playthrough, just something I dabble into for a little bit of fun on our spontaneous Thursday.
We don't get many visitors through. If I were you, I'd keep away from the barrow on the east side of town. It's haunted.
Oh? We can't just leave that there. No more about the barrow.
There's more to tell. They're haunted, and you should stay away. Look, I've seen one of the spirits with my very own eyes. When it glared at me, I swear it burned right through my soul.
Do the spirits haunt your town as well?
They seem to be sticking to the barrow. I think they're guarding it. Certainly isn't helping my business any. Who'd want to rent a room anywhere near a haunted barrow?
Alright, stream. Anyone watching right now that feels like participating? Should we investigate the barrow, or should we leave it be? Is it any of our business? You know, this town's out in the middle of nowhere. On the other hand, we're the Dovahkiin. We crave adventure and we like to help people. To be honest, we don't have a lot else going on. We don't have a home. Maybe we should. What do you think? I'll give you all a second to answer that question. See if anyone's interested in answering the question. I'll just do what I think would be most interesting for the stream. Do it. Okay. We got a response. We should investigate the barrel.
Anything you can do.
Off we go. I don't think I need to know anything about Higher Hrothgar. Maybe, you know, it'd probably be good to get a local, actually.
The Greybeards are a solitary lot. I don't think they've ever ventured outside their monastery. We get the occasional pilgrim passing through here on their way to the summit, but almost all of them have returned disappointed.
Well, we are not the average adventurer. The average adventurer could not have survived Helgen, so we're gonna try it. And they call to us, so it's also kind of up to them to make it possible for us. Get a little bit more on the barrow.
About a year or two ago, some fella named Windelius came through. Said he was some kind of a treasure hunter. I warned him not to go in there, just like I warned you. The very next night we heard screams from the barrow, and that was it. We never saw him again.
Well, we don't, to be fair, we don't know if he's actually
Your eyes
dead.
open in the barrow.
He could just be
That's how they
trapped in
get
there.
You don't look like a
We don't get many.
Probably
Sure
do want to
thing.
find a place to sleep
Yours for
first,
a
though,
day.
before we do anything else.
I'll show you to your room.
Is there a bard
Right
here?
this way.
I don't know. You're talking to me.
What do you want?
I don't know. What do you want?
Up to them once every few
I was the
months,
one who
when
started
weather
talking.
permits it. Other than that, they seem like a quiet lot. Don't really know too much about them.
Okay, so someone makes the journey up every week. That was a lot less dangerous than what the bartender was telling us.
Pardon me, my lord. Would you care to hear me play my lute?
I
play the
would.
lute.
While
If
we're
you
here?
want to hear something, it only costs 5 gold.
Oh, we could be a little bit flirty, or we can just go with it. Don't know if it's really, well, I don't know. Dragonborn's still a little bit of adventure, but at the same time, you know, we're doing a lot of other side quests today, so why not?
Why, thank you. You're very kind. Still interested? Thank you, my lord.
Yeah. Play a song for us. Do a little bit of flirting, have a little bit of fun.
No.
Doesn't always need to be a future
If
for
I could sweep her away from here,
just need to
You're looking a
do
bit
such
under the weather.
modestly.
has so much
Oh yeah, I did get a bear fever, didn't I?
He's doing just fine. You should follow your heart.
Perhaps one day, but not today.
Which bit? Guess this one's. You can play the lute while we get a nice 8 hours of sleep, starting at 6 a.m. Which I can relate to more than I would like. Well, I guess I can relate to going to bed at 6 a.m. part, not to the getting a full 8 hours when I go to bed. Now let's take a look at that. These active effects. Yeah. That's not good. That came from the bear. So we're gonna have to find a way to get rid of that. I'm gonna just use a cure disease. Where are you?
Here for work? Get an axe and bring me all the wood you can chop.
I'm
Just
okay,
go on,
actually.
You should probably be in
Why
bed.
is...
You're looking a bit
She didn't say anything about a bear. I don't know why he's giving me the option to ask her if we're having a bear problem, but I don't think I'm going to.
I've got work to do.
A very
You don't
pleasant
look
woman.
like a pilgrim. Why bother visiting Iverstead?
I already talked to you after you asked me that last time. You didn't let me explain myself, so we are going to expect you to let us do it this time. So people said that we should investigate the barrow. Talk about investigation. Some poor man sitting over here all alone. He looks like he might be in a little bit of trouble. Maybe we should do something about that. Let's first get rid of our disease. No, poison wasn't what I had in mind. Looking for a C, and it doesn't look like it's here. I guess we're just gonna have to roll with it.
I can't see you, Rada. I can't find you. Why are you hiding? Hiding. Hide, hide, hide. Don't make me sad.
Okay, well, we were right about this guy needing a little bit of help, I'd say.
Rada was here, then gone. Went to gather plants and never came home. Nope, nope. Everyone looked and no one could find her. Wilhelm said she'll be back. Told Narfi not to worry. Rada will come back. With father, I said goodbye. With mother, I said goodbye. Rada leaves and Narfi can't say goodbye. Makes Narfi very, very sad. Narfi needs Rada to say goodbye.
That's of course.
Oh,
Let's give him
thank you.
something to
Divine
lift up his
bless your
day.
kind heart.
Oh, being EO Scout, do a good turn
See
daily.
Rada. Tell him that Narfi misses her.
Looks like something went.
Soon, very soon. Soon like the moon.
He likes to rhyme. Good man. Something tragic happened to their abode. You can't seem to find Narfi, so... I mean Rada. Narfi's his name. You can't actually, I know from playing Skyrim before, you can find her body somewhere. We'll see if there's an opportunity for that to happen organically. If not, we'll just leave it at him getting that gold piece. Now, put that over here. And we said we'll level up after we get out of Iverstead, just for a better flow. And we'll keep to that, we'll include this in that.
It's a Nordic rune, thousands of years old.
Figure as much. Like someone's unearthed these skeletons. At least I don't know why someone would do that and not cover them back up unless they came in like that. That being said, it does seem like people are concerned that this place is haunted.
Huh?
Oh, Dragoro. There's no doubt about. Yep, that's oh, not what we were expecting. Delius. I'm not really one to take orders from ghosts. In the world of Skyrim, that could be many different things. Something demonic, soul trap between worlds, sorts of things. Still talking, but I can't hear him. Do something funky with these levers in order to get out of here. Okay. Owie! That doesn't seem very reasonable. As if someone pulled that one first. Why would you do that? I don't know. And like, it's an effective trap at the same time. Like, if that one doesn't contribute to success, booby trap only works if someone happens to pull that one before they figure the others out. That opens that. This switches the two. Also switches the two. That one functions independently. Kinda got lucky, kinda figured it out. That's closed behind us, but shouldn't need it, right? And take whatever's in here. One path down that way. And there's also a locked door over here. All the doors are locked. We have Uthgar to watch our back, so we shouldn't be too... We find a turn our back on the ghost. Oh, what's in here? There we go. Got it even with that disease we have that makes work a lot this. Yep. You want to be careful there that Uthgar didn't. Before we got another lock. An adept. Anyone watching the stream, let me know, what do you feel about how do you feel about ghosts in real life? Do you think ghosts exist, and if so, what are they? Oh, okay. I would, to be fair with Gert, I was as careful with you as you were with me. Want her to get up before we move on. Oh. Ooh. Oh, looking at that question reminded me I forgot to bring the golden claw back to Riverwood. We should do that on our way back. Okay. Someone did not want anyone getting in here. Not a lot of draggers though, so these undead weren't perhaps as bad as other people. As we're about to see, quite ironic of him to say that, because he is himself hiding among the undead. He sure took in his own advice, though I didn't, and it worked out pretty well for me. So far. Let's hope that continues. Possible, based on the lack of Draugr, that people in this burial place may actually have deserved to be so protected. Steel Imperial gauntlets. Very nice. Are Ingrid again. Sadly, there's not a vendor between us and High Hrothgar, so we may just have to.
We've stopped. What is it?
Over to.
What do you need to take?
Hope she can take a little bit more off of us, and it looks like she can. Yep. Things. Watch it right now at this late hour. We appreciate you being here. We are going to move this stream next week to being earlier in the day, starting at 5 precisely, instead of have to do it all over again because he has 2 hookup boots there.
Let's get going.
Instead of 5, so
What do you need to
we'll be 5 to 9. Sort of start right as people are getting out of work and right in time for people to go to bed. You can be watching the stream as you're getting your way to bed. Maybe turn on just the audio on the way home from work. We're also going to try and work towards the beginning and end of it being less gameplay intensive, so you're not missing out on the story for doing that, it would just be kind of me talking, which I think would be a better place for kind of the underlying conversations we've been injecting this time to go, where I can talk to them about them more at length there at the beginning, at the end, like I said, so that anyone who wanted to watch it but is just coming out of work at 5, most people work 9 to 5, at least in the United States, they can have time where there's really nothing else going on other than just me talking. That'd be a better deal for everyone. So that'll be how we do it next week. For right now, though, I appreciate everyone being here at this late an hour. We're going to go a little bit past 9. We're going to go until, not a little bit past, we're going to go all the way to 9:45 tonight, because we had a little technical error intermission. I don't think I have one of these. I do not. Oh, interesting. Okay, so we will need to come back here at a later date. The door can only be opened with a claw. We don't have the right one for this. I gotta check. Recall him having left a journal. Maybe in that journal we'll mention where the claw was. Or E218, Morning Star. That's 4th era. Year. Day 18. Morning Star has to be one of the days of the week. I've set up camp inside the barrow. This has to be the place. According to all my research, the burial chamber should be located here. All I need is some time to undisturbed to find the claw. It must be hidden here somewhere. 7 days later. And a close call today with that fool Wilhelm. That is, for anyone who was watching a little bit earlier, knows that to be the innkeeper. He came close to entering the barrow, but I was able to scare him off by rattling some pottery shards in a bag. These people are far too not quite what he wrote. Far too superstitious for their own good. Gives me an idea. 3 days later. After a few failures, I come up with a mixture that should do the trick. The glow is perfect. It should look exactly like one of the supposed spirits the people of Iverstead believe is haunting this barrow. Going to test it out tomorrow. After the next day, he said success. It worked better than I could have imagined. All I had to do was wander about the entrance to the barrow at night and wave my arms about. I had to stop myself from laughing aloud as they ran away. This should keep them at bay while I continue searching for the claw. Perhaps a whole month later, still in the same year. Oh, maybe the... it's probably the month, not the day that is... Oh, I can't point. Where's my mouse? Okay. I can't point, but Hearthfire should be a different month. I don't know if it's just the month after or a little bit longer. Not up to date on my Skyrim calendar. Almost half a year has passed and no sign of the claw or any clues as to its whereabouts. This is becoming maddening. It has to be here. Can't risk hiring any assistants, so I'll have to continue alone. Well, I guess we did see from the guy who stole the golden claw that assistance wasn't good enough for him to get through. Doesn't look like they betrayed him. You know, I should have realized that Morning Star wasn't a day. I guess I kind of did subconsciously, because it kept popping up for all those different entries earlier on in this journal. Another different month. 20th of Sun's Dusk, still in the same year. It isn't here. It can't be here. This isn't right. It must be the people of Iverstead. It must be onto my ruse, and they're toying with me. They want to find the burial chamber on their own accord and keep the riches for themselves. 18th of Evening Star, another month, same year. Why? Why are they tormenting me? Why not just destroy me? Who am I? My head is becoming clouded. I can't remember anything. I have to read my journal to remember my purpose. Am I a part of this tomb? Am I meant to guard it? What's becoming of me? Another entry. Not dated right at all. It's dated in the First Era, 1050. They shall not take away my treasure. They shall all pay dearly for their crimes, and who set forth within these walls will taste my wrath, my power. I am the guardian of Shroud Hearth Barrow. All who oppose me will fall. It looks like this guy spent so much time here that he went insane. You could tell by how early he dated that first entry. He no longer believed himself to have been from the Fourth Era, but to have actually been buried here in the First Era, with all the bodies buried here. I guess that could happen if one was trapped down here for that long, though I also gotta say, like, spent that many months in this tomb. Like, this is like a one room kind of deal, guy. Like, there's not only one room, but there's not that many places you could be looking. If you got that many months to look around, you probably should have realized that it's time to give up, and I don't know that his mind could have been so unfortified that he went totally mad in that amount of time. But to be fair, we're also talking about a thief here. Often those who engage in thievery are not renowned for being of stoutest mind. Often how they end up there. Well, perhaps Burkeep Willem will know what to do. And he could have spent about a month in each of the rooms that he was here for, looking for that claw, and it clearly wasn't here. He's pretending to be a ghost. It's not like he couldn't have found his way outside sometimes. Got a little bit of fresh air. Even just come up here. But it does go to show just how important, like, personal connection is. It's one thing if you're a hermit, specifically there to strengthen their mind with that sort of thing. But if you're not, bound to have one heck of an effect on you. I got a tab out here for just a second. We kind of half fixed the whole. See, I just tabbed out and I'm still in the game. Bring up my mouse. Yeah, that speed test should have improved since then. Back to the YouTube stream. Like anyone's watching on YouTube, that's a shame. I have had 5 views in total. We do appreciate and love our YouTube audience. Hopefully it will grow, but right now it seems like people enjoy watching on Twitch more. I totally understand. There's more to do on Twitch. But you can find on YouTube, we don't just have a live channel, but we also have a channel devoted to extras. So this Skyrim series will be broken down to parts in case you miss anything. In case someone wants to digest it in a more in a shorter fashion with better editing. They're thinking. You can also find vlogs and other extras there coming, like highlight reels.
We don't get need a room, maybe a drink.
All right, what's going on, buddy? Oh, tell us about Narfi, but we can't get anything out. about...
Here, take a look
Bro.
at this.
Oh,
Some
no.
of the Jarl's men
I didn't
came by
mean to
and
do
left
that, but I
this
guess we have a
bounty.
bounty letter now. Okay. First watchtower. I guess we'll take them up on that. Why not? But alright, now first we gotta go to the Greybeards, and I must have missed something, because usually when you go to Wilhelm after exploring the Barrow, and get all those. So what did we miss in the Barrow? I'm gonna turn that on and see if it gives us a marker and go back to him. Boy, I was doing thinking during my break and then go to the bathroom. So kind of feeling that right now, but it is what it is. Y'all come first. Ah. We got it. Speaking of tired, break out the rest of this 5-hour energy. Not speaking of tired, oh dear. Speaking of the break, the time for y'all to get food. Not do that either, but I got my hand in 5-hour energy here. Don't need to drink. I prefer 5-hour energies. Do coffee. Don't need, can get it all at once. Ooh. Do pack a little bit of a punch though. Not seeing here anything that would let me get the claw from Willem. Maybe it bugged out. I don't know, and to be honest, I don't care that much. We got rid of the threat to the people of the city. Probably just more loot. Well, there is probably a shout down there, which it is unfortunate we're not going to get. But it is what it is. Yes, I do in fact drink 5 energies every day. Not the best habit, but it's something I'm weaning off. Some bad habits you need to just go cold turkey on. They do absolutely need to be stopped. Others, you take your time on.
Watch what you're doing.
And your body's, thanks be to God, usually built to handle each. But it is important to find something else to supplement it. In this case, caffeine should be supplemented by natural energy sources, but that takes time to work into my life.
Aren't the Greybeards expecting some supplies?
Honestly, I'm not certain. I've yet to be allowed into the monastery. Perhaps one day. You're a good friend. Here, take this. You'll like it.
I'm a good friend?
On your way to High Hrothgar?
I've never met
About
this
to make
man.
a delivery up there
I
myself.
appreciate it. I guess what goes around came around regarding Narfi.
Mostly food supplies like dried fish.
Sure, we had
and
a
salted
prom,
meats.
so what kind of
You
things
know,
do you want
things that
to
keep fresh for a long
bring
time.
up there?
The Greybeards tend not to get out much, if you catch my meaning. Well, it's kind of an understanding between us. I mean, it just wouldn't feel right to charge them for a bit of preserved food. Trouble is, my legs aren't what they used to be, and climbing the 7,000 steps takes its toll.
You do that? I'm already going up
Well, that
there.
would be
That's
kind
what I was
of you.
thinking when I approached him.
Here, take this bag of supplies.
Another
At the
example of
top
what
the
goes around
steps,
comes
you'll see
around.
The offering chest. Just leave the bag inside, and you're done. Well,
Anything
there's
I
the
should watch out
occasional
for?
wolf pack or stray, but that's all I've ever had to deal with. Shouldn't be a problem for the likes of you. Other than that, watch your footing. In these wintry conditions, the stairs can be treacherous.
real question here is who is being treacherous? That's a very different take than the bartender gave me, but he also does seem a little bit flighty based on his reaction to not Ghost of Ghost. This is you get the idea. The ghost of the barrow.
I've been in the monastery many times, but I've never even laid eyes on one of the Greybeards. Not that I'd care to. Being masters of the Thuum, they could kill you by uttering a single word.
That seems like a good man. It makes sense that he's just going around
peaceful,
throwing some love out to the world. Give us those 2 gold coins. Makes a little bit more sense now. And makes me a little bit less trepidatious about taking his advice and not expecting as much trouble as perhaps the barkeep would suggest. We're definitely going to make the climb undeterred. Sure, no matter what, but good thinking. It's still always good to be careful. Looks like a bear got the best of a couple bandits over there. Not that I mind that, but again, well, he's a pretty, he's a fair way off the path. I don't think we gotta mess with him. Let's level up now. We do it right after we got out of Iverstead, and here we are on our way finally up to meet the Greybeards. I'm gonna say do stamina. Been using the most. Ooh, health as well. I don't know why our oh, it's because we have the amp. Something more practical. I know we haven't really been practicing it, but I want to be able to start upgrading our armor. So, let's steel smithing, so we can come back down, we can do a little bit of that. I think we have everything we need to be ready to make this climb. Back on the caffeine note, if you're watching right now, let me know what kind of caffeine you drink. Are you prefer the lower caffeine amount, other health benefits of tea, as well as the taste, of course. Goes without saying that factored into the decision. Are you a coffee person? Are you a 5-hour energy person? Energy drink? What kind of caffeine do you like to take? When do you like to take it? And just how much? Other note on that, we were talking about the whole weaning off thing. I think it's a neat little way on the topic that we had earlier of everything being kind of interconnected. You can't always just pull something out, right? Because you can't, you need caffeine for a reason. You're taking it because you're tired, and you're going to be more tired if you don't have that caffeine, and you need to find a supplement for that. And if you needed that supplement, there's probably a reason for it. There's a reason you're not being able to get as much sleep as you would like. And so you don't just have to fix the one problem. You have a lot of things you have to readjust. Everything, but important. I didn't quite get the full depth of what I wanted to get with that, but I suppose we're going to get this late at night. Point is, everything matters. Everything's connected. Everything has its due, right? You don't just get to take something out of the equation like that. Sometimes it's a way of a natural form of justice, right? Maybe sometimes you knock something out of order in your own life. And you don't just get to go and change it right away. Alright, so we are making our way up to the Greybeards. Here we are with Emblem 1. Before the birth of men, the dragons ruled all Mundus. Their word was the voice, and they spoke only for true needs, for the voice could blot out the sky and flood the land. The Greybeards are the preservers, for anyone who does not know, of the ancient dragon lore, a power called the Thuum, which we are climbing to learn about, because we learned from our experience fighting dragons so far that we are something called Dragonborn. We have the ability to use sort of soul power in order to use a power called the Voice, which gives us all sorts of abilities. Right now we only have access to Unrelenting Force, and naturally people have gone to great lengths to preserve knowledge about this. They have, and also have connected it to the human experience. They've connected it to the interior life. That's what I'm going for. All right, just gotta check the settings here. I'm gonna do many things at once. I just want to make sure I know I forget the Z is how I use the theme. Thought it was F. Need to figure that out before we went out. Yeah, they have connected the dots that the theme is not just about, oh wow. Look at that bad boy. The theme is not just a power, it is a power that derives from one's soul, and so the state of one's soul is going to play a major impact in just how powerful one is. That power is going to be a derivative of one's character. So naturally, you're going to need things like traditions and history, or many, as much things to connect to as possible to deepen that character. These things don't just build, but they enable these things to have a legacy to them, to last the test of time. Wake up every morning, and the same things that held you up and push you to do better are still there the next day to keep you going. And it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing that the world has that effect on us. It's not just like a meaningless entity, but it's a player in the grand epic that is the human experience. Who's this guy? Stepping out of that deep chat to... Okay. You visit the Greybeards?
They're not the sort to take visitors. But I never go that high up the path anyway. Some folk who make the trip leave them food or other essentials, but not to make conversation. I like to spend time up here, walk the steps, meditate on the emblems. Doesn't hurt when I bag some game along the way.
Excellent philosophy. Sometimes that's what it takes. I know someone who does a lot of praying in their own life, sometimes to have the time to pray, to meditate on what's going on, what you need to be able to multitask. And in order to do that without diminishing from the experience, learn to sort of weave those two things together, to meditate on what is going on in your life. And doing so, you realize that can often help you build up muscles. Muscles to bring your values and ways of thinking into your everyday tasks. It's important too, like we were talking about earlier, have those times that be able to step aside and devote your time wholeheartedly to processing something, but other time, valuable to just go out and get some word application in. We are at continuing on the story of the Greybeards. I guess the sort of story of Skyrim, more like it. Men were born and spread over the face of Mundus. The dragons presided over the crawling masses. Men were weak then, had no. Men were weak then. Boys, I kind of leaned back there. Y'all might not have got that, but leaning forward now. Sorry. I'm gonna move the mic a little bit closer. That'll help too. Yeah, there we go. It is a sad thing that many in their lives don't appreciate just how much things like nature and the physical world can be an aid to the spiritual life. A lot of people look at it as a dichotomy, as a duality, that these things were created by the same person, or of the same person. One is, just like with human beings, they're sort of a part of each other, definitely connected. The only force that controls the world is the creator, and he has expressed himself as essentially the act of Jesus imprinting upon Mother Veronica, right? Making his form manifest. And though one may not any given point. We might just be crawling up his on the beard right now. That doesn't mean that if you step back, you could see the whole picture, and so that was an important part. But when every man was made in the image and likeness of God, and to be fully complete, to fully understand Him, eventually necessitate an appreciation of the physical world in order to have the full spiritual, and vice versa. They're made to work together and naturally do. Like perfection, if Fledgling, the emblem number 3. The fledgling spirits of men were strong in old times, unafraid to war with dragons and their voices. The dragons only shouted them down and broke their hearts. The Nords had a strong will, but at this point they had not yet learned how to use them. Appeal to the constant human experience of the mind and heart. Another duality there where both are needed. If you knew how to use the Thu'um, not have the passion to use it, it would be just as useless as vice versa. Same thing goes with the spiritual world and the physical world, and the same thing goes with freedom versus security. What we're talking about today is our bigger topic. Question of how much should men be able to create? The idea of security is that you have an end goal in mind, right? And you preserve it. You establish things that contribute to its perpetuation. And the idea of freedom is that you need the idea of freedom is having a space in which to grow.
Keep an eye out for wolves if you're headed up the path to High Hrothgar.
I think it's a little late for that, but we'll do. And
just a pilgrim.
Who are you?
I'd prefer to leave it at that, if you don't mind.
Or actually, I don't think I need to ask what she's doing. Privacy is an important thing. Oh, number 4. Pine called on Parthenax, who pitied man, or dragon. Together they taught men to use the voice. Then dragon war raged, dragon against tongue. It's in freedom versus security. It's important to recognize that freedom can be an end in of itself. There is something that a joy that comes with being free, being able to just express oneself and to act out as one desires in the moment. Do not feel the need to fully the ability to be spontaneous that way. How does man reconcile that? Should he? We already kind of gone over that they because there are things that are eternal, things that will never change, things that bind us all together in a human experience. But there is also subjectivity to life, a diversity. That we are all just like the different parts of the world, made in slightly different ways. And each represent certain goods in themselves and form a larger whole. In order to do that, recognize that man does not have break off of this for this fight here. Frost troll, so I would assume the fire spell will work, except I just blasted our poor companion. Let's make this a little bit easier. Give her a chance to recover from that fire. Yeah, I know you're on my side. I'm sorry.
You think I'm afraid of you?
I'm being careful here not to hit her. Oh, he didn't stand a chance. Good lad. Put up a good fight. He didn't stand a chance. I can do a call to catch up after the stream. That's not a problem. No offense entailed there. I hope I gave no impression that that would be something that's offensive for you to call me after the stream. I appreciate it. You know, you're my friend. I enjoy talking to you, so it's not at all a problem. Emblem 5. That's me referring to chat, by the way. Someone messaged me in chat, someone I know, saying they're going to call me after the stream. Not what the emblem said. Emblem number 5. Man prevailed, shouting Alduin out of the world, proving for all that their voice was too strong, although their sacrifices were many-fold. So on the freedom security argument, coming to an important crossroads where we realize that we're dealing not only with a means to an end versus an end, but two ends in of themselves. It's important to ask ourselves, is security a means to an end as well? And the answer to that is also yes. Security kind of represents justice and freedom, man's ability to reconcile things with one another, the ability to step aside and process through complex ideas and emotions, and to do all that entails. You know, logical proof requires many steps along the way, not only the end, and hence the difficulty with freedom. That sometimes those steps are an offense against the end that one has in mind. And so any given society needs to ask itself, you know, how, what are our ends, what are our non-negotiables, what elements are so grave that it cannot be afforded, that one can have the liberty to mess with that. And are there instances where that is even the case? You know, is there instances where one's freedom can infringe upon another's freedom? Are there instances where someone can say something is so objectively wrong it has no place? Emblem number 6. With roaring tongues the Sky Children conquered, founding the first empire with sword and voice, whilst the dragons withdrew from this world. Interesting thing there, that the Stormcloaks, or the Nords I should say, not the Stormcloak. Or many a Nord would not refer to themselves as a Stormcloak. Roaring tongues, the Sky Children, yeah. They regarded themselves as an empire at that time. I don't think they do anymore. They do as a kingdom. There's a difference there. You know, talking about freedom versus security. And a kingdom is primarily concerned with its own matters, whereas an empire has a greater degree of looking out at the rest of the world and imposing a will upon it for both its own sake and sometimes for the sake of that world. Another question of, does one nation have the right to interfere with another? Is it limited to just where they might interact, or are those things the things again that are so universal that it doesn't matter? I know it does. That is there something that we can just look at someone and say, there's no way they could even, you know, just be misguided. They are just wrong enough that someone needs to step in. Emblem 8. The tongues of Red Mountain went away humbled. Jurgen Windcaller began his 7-year meditation to understand how strong voices could fail. And here that the Empire tried to conquer a neighboring land and failed. Jurgen went to this mountain to meditate on how that could be possible, and we can infer, based off of the things we've already been talking about, that he realized that it's not just about the power itself, but how and why one uses it. Emblem 8. So that's 7, my bad, I made it 8. Jurgen Windcaller chose silence and returned. 17 disputants could not shout him down. So I guess there were 17 other people who would agree with his ideology. Jurgen the Calm built his home for the world. He became a changed man and took on a name, from being Jurgen Windcaller to Jurgen the Calm. Someone who, you know, that's a very neat transition there, because they are pretty, they do have somewhat of a dichotomy, and often dualities are in themselves also, To be a duality implies that the two things are distinct and opposite. So he's a person who went from being someone who would go about his life constantly calling upon the world to change, bringing about the winds of change, to someone who would bring about peace, who would reconcile things. Someone who would serve the stillness. So, where is the specific answer in the freedom security debate before we get to the tail end of this climb? Well, for one, it's a little bit different in every situation, right? But there is an answer. I think that confidence is something that we all need as humans, right? That's something we don't get a lot of nowadays. But the first and foremost thing for all of us that we need is to understand that there is hope. We can get it right. Even though there may be what is right might look a little bit different in different circumstances. There is an answer. There is a way to find that balance. And it's somewhat in what I was talking about. That there are certain lines that because we are ourselves knowable, we do share things in common. We can know that there are some things that are just intrinsically and absolutely wrong. We can learn both from forces outside, but especially those within, which I think is a very rare thing for modern man to do. But being in a game like Skyrim, for example, will give us an appreciation of how this openness will allow one to look within oneself, and I think often that is really the best place to find answers to these sorts of things, because those forces are present within us as well. We find that often our freedom, the parts of us that desire freedom, also desire to eventually come to an end, to come to a place of stability. But we still have, even when we do that, a desire to grow. And so we looked for a way to grow, something with sort of a scientific manner, follow a scientific method that has secure boundaries, but it still allows for enough flexibility to achieve a different end. I think the answer, in general, in the rules is sort of a guarded openness. To be constantly testing thing against oneself, how one feels, what it does, and sticking to an answer. When something is so awfully grave that it can't be messed with, you set that as a boundary and you stick to it, unless something else comes across as so grave that forces